There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Colorado Kids Fireside Chat. That's way too much for an intro, isn't it?
No, not for you.
Right on par?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, good. We were just discussing, like, as we were coming to the crescendo of the music that intros into the live streams here.
Yeah.
It turns out that I'm very lazy because the music that I chose was exactly 5 minutes long, and then I found a countdown timer that was exactly 5 minutes long, and it all worked out. People would probably think that I overproduced the bejesus out of this, but that's not what happened. What really happened was I got perfectly lucky would be the term. I got lucky.
Yeah, it fits. It's got a nice tone to it.
I think it fits right in with the Colorado Kid personality, doesn't it, Kyle?
Sure. It really sets the mood, eh?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Look, here's the deal. We don't have a lot to talk about tonight because Kyle and I have spent all day together. All day.
Yeah, and you've spent all day talking, so you must be exhausted.
It's jarring on the old lozenge. No, what is it called?
It's a bonus cardio.
What's this called?
Adam's apple?
No, the throat. What's the part? There's a part of the throat. Esophagus. There it is.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I know it. Anatomatic. Yeah. Kyle, we're here. We just ate a ton of steak. What would be your early review of the pre-fireside chat food?
It was great. The only problem is that we had such great sandwiches for lunch that I didn't have that much room still. But otherwise, yeah, I could have eaten a lot more of that steak. That was really good.
So if you guys aren't familiar with this, we rode Rockville today, and in Fairfield, I grew up in Fairfield. So in Fairfield, there's a place called Joe's Buffet, which fits perfectly because my name happens to be Joe as well, right? So we go to Joe's Buffet, and it's just been there for absolutely ever. When I was in high school, we'd go there, we'd walk down in the street and go to this old school deli, which is like you'd go inside and it's just the old, like there's nothing special about the interior of this place, would you agree?
Yeah,
it's like basically almost like fold out tables and stuff. But the charm is in the fact that it's been there forever. It's basically a staple of Fairfield, which in itself only has like 3 good places to eat. And so we went over to Joe's Buffet, and the sandwiches, what they give you, if you guys saw a picture that I posted on Instagram, it's basically like this much meat and this much bread. It's just absolutely insane.
It's a bit of a slop show trying to get it all together. Yeah, that's another gripe I have, I guess. But yeah, man, you walk in and they got like big old slabs of meat and they slice it right there when you order. Pretty rad deal.
It's kind of like an old school deli where they just take a big old hunk of meat and they put it in a meat slicer, throw it out, but it's like vast proportions. Like it's just ridiculous. And again, for the price, you're paying less than like a normal sandwich, and you're getting like mac and cheese and what. I know we're talking about food here, but
are they sponsoring this
I just love the place. And the funniest part is that everybody that's in the stream is probably not in Fairfield, so they're not ever going to go to this place. Like there's really no point in me talking about it whatsoever, but I'm just excited about it, Kyle. It's still, whenever I go to Fairfield and I eat at Joe's Buffet, I get excited about it.
Yeah, it's definitely good to know about.
This is a fantastic place.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah.
There's some things we got to talk about tonight.
Like what?
One, I am basically a bike mechanic now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
some reason, I don't believe you.
I don't know why that is. Just because I have known nothing about bikes since our entire friendship.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I've learned to fix things on a bike, Kyle.
That's fascinating. I also became a bike mechanic last night, last minute.
Yeah, when you text me at 6:30 this morning, like, I'm not going to be there on time. What is the reason why, Kyle?
You know what's funny? So last night I actually texted a whole thing out about let's push it back. Like, I don't think I'm going to be up in time. And then I had written the whole text out and I was like, no, I'm going to delete this. I can do it. I got this. And I woke up in the morning and I was like, I am not going to be ready in time.
Yeah.
So what had happened was, I have a replacement shifter I have like an NX shifter, and it's so wore out that I couldn't downshift on the last ride I went on. And I, of course, got done with that ride and I was like, I need to fix this before I ride again, and didn't think about it until the night before going to ride again. So I was like, I'm gonna tinker with it, see if I can get it to work. Start pulling it apart, and then get to a point where I'm like, I can't do anything yet, but I was like, I know if I pull it apart anymore, there's a really good chance I'm not gonna get it back together. I was like, I'm gonna do it anyway. I already had a backup shifter. So I go to pull it apart and it just explodes everywhere into oblivion. And I was like, well, that ain't going back together. So anyway, long story short, I decided to replace the shifter because I put myself in that position. Yeah. So I was up a little later than I wanted to doing that until like 11 at night.
That's one thing I think, now that you mention it too, like we had talked about it a little bit, but I think I remember trying to do the same thing where I got the screws underneath the shifter, and the same thing happened. There's like some coiled spring inside there or something, isn't it?
That's exact. I pulled the bottom
Yeah.
bolts out, and it just went boosh, and I was like, damn, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in my mind, I was like, you know, obviously it's going to be like any sort of ratchet. There's going to be a kind of a gear, there's like a circular gear, and then some sort of point where it'll ratchet on. I was like, usually you can kind of fiddle with that, or, you know, maybe something's just a little wore out. That spring, I could probably like put a little tension back in it, get it to work. I didn't want to replace it yet because new bike's coming. Anyway, it was the whole thing. But yeah, long story short is it did not pan out. Short story long is it didn't pan out.
On the other end of the spectrum, I did some miraculous work on my bike recently, okay? Like, we're gonna go over that tonight. We're gonna go over my experiences with this and my early impressions on some of these parts, which is, I'm sure, why people tune into these live streams to hear about my idea on bike parts, so we're not gonna spend a lot of time on that because they're just gonna leave really fast, all right? But, okay, so recently, I ordered the Trail 1 gear. So I got Brian Kennedy. Oh, I don't know if you know this guy, BKXC.
I'm not familiar.
It's kind of a big deal.
Is it like an XC mountain biker?
Yeah, he does a lot of cross-country racing. And so I got the BKXC stuff, the Trail 1, and so I got the handlebars on, I got the grips on, I got the stem on, all right? Currently, they're 800 mil. Apparently, according to everyone, the handlebars are 800 millimeters.
That's what it says on the website.
And everybody's like, oh, how do you like the 800 mils? I'm like, I don't know. And you asked me that today.
I did too, yeah. So I bought the bars also, and I'm just waiting for my new bike frame because I want to have as many new parts as possible on a new bike frame. So, but yeah, I'm wondering because 800 is pretty wide, and if you go anywhere where there's trees kind of close, it can be nerve-wracking. And if you're doing wheelies on tiny bridges like I was today, it's kind of sketchy. And you know, the Bronson handlebars I have are 760.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, they could be wider. Maybe I'll cut it down to 780.
So we're right. We got to be right at the 780 mark then.
I think 780 is probably the sweet spot.
Okay.
But that being said, I've never cut carbon bars, and I'm not trying to.
Don't you need a specialized tool to cut carbon bars? You can't just do it with a bandsaw, right?
I have no idea. I haven't looked into it yet.
Yeah. So now we've got to take it further down the rabbit hole. This is something we're going to talk about tonight.
If you need a bandsaw, then yeah, I'm just going to leave it at 800 probably.
Well, I've got a bandsaw. Like, I got one of the Milwaukee wireless bandsaws, but I think you have to have a specialized carbon tool thing.
Really?
And then you got to wear a mask so you don't breathe the carbon vapors or whatever.
Yeah, this is too complicated. 800 bars it is.
It sounds like 800 millimeter bars are just perfect.
Or just go to your favorite local bike shop and be like, hey, shorten it.
Dude, it's funny. It's funny because, of course, good old Paul. Paul immediately messaged me when I post something on Instagram when I was installing everything, and he's like, "Are you keeping those 800 mils, mate? You know, or whatever he says." And like anytime he says something, he's like just like about like you're doing it wrong is basically what he's saying.
He's about to say something really condescending.
Yeah, exactly right. He's like, it's never like an inquisitive. Like it's never like, hey, are those 800 mil bars? No, he's like, are you keeping those bars 800 mil? And you're like, here it comes. He's like, I think his response was, oh boy.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
But I think you would agree that I handled myself expertly at Rockville today, navigating these dangerous terrain.
Yeah, certainly better with a level of fitness that I do not have.
Yeah, I've gained it over years. I mean,
yeah, I've lost it over years.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I've been riding just often enough to bonk every time I ride. It's not a really good rhythm.
The weather's beautiful. The sun's staying out longer. Baby, we're going to get more rides in it. Yeah. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, once that sun starts to set a little later, those weekday rides become possible again.
Yeah. So let's get back to on top, really, because I got to talk about myself a little bit longer tonight, Kyle.
Naturally.
Because oftentimes there's a guest here that takes up all the screen time, and I don't appreciate it, okay?
Right.
Look, I basically installed all that stuff. Okay, that's easy enough. You say handlebars, stem, that's easy enough. Sure, fine,
for sure.
Fine. Then I got a deep dive into replacing the cassette, which is theoretically easy enough also. I had to get the tool for it, so I got that. Fine, easy. Then I got the Axis Eagle installed, which is the wireless shifting.
Right.
Now that sent me down a rabbit hole because it's not particularly complicated to install. They have plenty of videos on YouTube, but then I spent some time learning how to cut a chain properly because, like, I know now through, some live stream that somebody suggested that I cut the chain.
where everyone in the comments was like, don't put it on yet. You have to shorten it. Just gonna put
that was somebody else. It wasn't my son. It was me.
Okay, yeah.
So then I was like, okay, well, how about because normally now what I would do is I would measure up the chain that I have on my current setup, and then I would cut it based on the length of that chain. I was like, how about I learn how to actually find the proper length? And so then I find some videos on how to do that, and then I'm super nervous to cut because you need an extra chain, then an extra inner, or an extra outer and an extra inner link.
Dude,
and
I have to
then,
like triple quad check that.
Triple quad, but then you have to go at full sag to measure this. So I'm like, okay, so then I'm letting the pressure out of my rear shock and getting that to the point where my bike is compressed so that I can get the full measurement proper. Then, you know, then you're like, okay, now I got to cut the chain. Then you cut the chain, then you're getting it in, then the master link comes into play. And then once you get the chain on, this is, I know you guys don't care, we're probably losing viewers. No, they're still here, fine.
Go ahead.
Then, once that all happened, then you have to go and do the chain sag measurement, which the new measurement tool was like pretty rad because you could just tighten that up with the B tension adjustment. Look at this, I told you, I'm basically a bike mechanic.
Pretty legit, yeah.
So B tension adjustment right there. And then you got to measure the, what do you call the ends of the gears? Those two, high and low, but those two screws that measure the limit screws. So you set your limit screws, and once I got the B tension done and all that stuff, and then I got in the lower gears. Originally it was like loose, then it was like perfect. And I was like, holy crap, this actually worked. And I took it out for a spin. Okay, now early impressions of the Axis we're going to talk about in a second. You rode it with Robert, didn't you?
I did. And real quick, I'm curious. So since you did it all, you get the chain length manually.
Yep.
Do you know if that is the same amount of links as it was before?
I don't. I haven't measured the old chain.
I'm curious if the Axis changes the length of the chain.
I can't imagine it's very different, honestly. But like, because the GX, I had the GX before.
I would think like.
It's got to be almost identical.
I would think.
Because the cassette's the same and all that.
I was say that sounds like a lot more work than what I normally do. Is I just put the chains next to each other. All right, pull that one out. Done. Boom. Bing. Bing. Bang. Boom.
Yeah, I know, but I figured it was an opportunity to like learn how to actually do the whole process right. So it was in essence a learning experience that I didn't completely screw up, Kyle, which is surprising.
That's fantastic.
It's very unusual for me.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's another thing. I was like intimidated about setting. So with the new shifter, I have a new shifter cable, new shift cable, and I have a tendency to screw up indexing the gears.
Okay.
And I had this weird situation, and now that you mentioned there being a B tension screw, reminded me, I don't know if mine has that or not, but if it does, I didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, if that's a thing, I don't recall there being one on mine, but maybe, so basically what happened was I was setting the initial tension, just basically setting the cable in, and normally you have to like kind of push the derailleur in just ever so, and then tighten it so that it has good tension.
Yeah.
Every time I did that, it was too tight when I went to index them. So I ended up like almost giving it just a skosh of slack, which is the opposite of what I had done last time. And it was indexed almost perfectly right away. And then I had to change the other deal. I don't know the name of it. Anyway, it's like the clearance. Anyway, I had to like make that, it's the whole thing. Anyway, it worked out. So that's the gist.
Perfectly executed right there. I shifted the camera to you as you expunged the gas from your lungs, Kyle. That's exactly what happened. Look, people are not getting what they signed up for tonight. They're getting some bike talk, which is very unusual for me. I'm going to add one more log to the fire.
Very technical.
Yeah, I know. We're going to add one more log to the fire, and then I'm going to tell you my continued journey because I've got another bike story, okay? But let me throw another log on here because here's what happened, all right? So after I did all this, I went to go do a shakedown ride out in Auburn. So I was like, I just kind of want to do an easy ride and see how everything feels. Okay, one, shifting was good, okay? Shifting, everything was doing what it should have been doing. That was great. Then here's what happened that I did like about this wireless shifting, okay? Yeah. And I know I've talked a lot of crap about wireless shifting. I still can if I want to, okay? Look, here's the deal. I just wanted something shiny and new. But, okay, as I was making a climb, okay, you got your granny gear, and then you got the gear right below it, okay? I don't know what you want to call that. Gear 2, gear 7, right? Second gear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I knew that. See, I was testing you. And so I'm making the climb up the hill, and I'm noticing it's like kind of like almost like it wants to come down one way or the other, right?
Sure.
So the cool part about that is that you could do micro adjusts on the controller itself, the actual paddle. So you reach underneath, hit the button, and then you can micro adjust the derailleur on the fly. And I was able to do that, fix the gear like that while I'm climbing up the hill.
Is that instead of a barrel adjuster?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a kind of a cool, because you can do it from the app also, but you could do it real time. So I'm literally climbing. I'm like,
you can do that on a standard on a standard barrel adjuster, like just the same, just boop, 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 while riding. I've done that.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that's
it's
true. It's never seemed to work for me.
Every time with a new shift cable, eventually it'll stretch out and you got to redo it. Sometimes you can just, on the barrel adjuster, just, you know.
I don't know about that, Kyle. That sounds
Yeah.
sketch. It just sounds like a
Yeah.
lot of work.
In my opinion, now that you asked about the access gears or the shifter, you know, all the doodads, really cool. Obviously, we've had the discussion about the battery, so I'm not going to get into that.
Yep.
The bottom line for me was I liked it. The indexing was a little wonky.
Yep.
But I'm sure that could just have been adjusted. But the big thing for me is that the price point it's at is just over my head. It's the same reason why I won't get an e-bike. I just can't afford it. It is what it is. If I could afford it, I'd do it. So that's that. If you have the budget, yeah, do it. You'll enjoy it.
Do I have the budget? It's questionable. With the millions I have rolling
that's
into
true.
this whole YouTube thing, it's just, and the Instagram success, there's so many elements to how little money I'm making, but it's fine.
You don't need the budget, you just need the line of credit. Really.
Yeah, and the will to succeed. So here's what happened then. I go out to Granite Bay a day or two later, and I'm like, just an easy, I just wanted to go do like, you know, Granite Bay is generally just easier loops, just kind of fitness. And so I go out there, and immediately on the first climb, I start to hear this like chunking, like almost like a cracking sound coming out from near my crank. Okay, so I'm like, all right, well, something's going on with the pedals or something's going on, whatever. I don't know, let me look.
Yeah.
So I finally pull over and I look down and I grab my cranks and I'm able to basically do this.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
With the cranks. And I noticed like a gap. Like at this point, I'm like, oh no, like this is not good.
That's like
so,
it's like a bad driving pantomime.
Yeah,
So.
it's like, hey, whoa, we're coming down the street. Like imagine a CG behind me, like a CG wall where there's like a fake background of me driving through Paris, like like this.
Yeah, your cranks aren't supposed to do a bad driving pantomime.
So I do one of these, and so then like I'm like, all right, well let me tighten up the crank. You know, maybe that's the problem. We got to tighten this up. You know, like this.
Yeah,
get them together.
Yeah, just the tips.
Yeah, and then so it didn't even budge. I was like, that's not the problem here. And so like I coast down the hill and I say, hey, you know what? This shop, Ride BSC, Tyson and Brad, the guys who run the shop, are rad. They're awesome. Anytime I can, I'll go to them and just let them handle stuff because they love laughing at me. You know, it's a great opportunity for them to kind of poke fun at my buffoonery. Relate. And so I take it to the shop and they're like, dude, what's going, like, he's like, your bearings are shot, like on your bottom bracket. Yeah. And so then I'm like, okay, well, they're like, that's like, once they really looked at it, I left it at the shop and I took off, I had to do some stuff with the kids. And once they really looked at it, they're like, your bottom bracket was basically disintegrated.
You've got bottom bracket soup.
Bottom bracket stew, yes. They were literally like, they said we were pulling parts out of the frame. Like there was parts, like they showed me it and it was disintegrating. So they basically redid the whole bottom bracket. And like, I've been riding like that for a while. And like, okay, well, I think I was like, dude, it feels like there's dirt or something in the cranks. Maybe I just need to pull it all apart and clean it. I don't know. But at the end of the day, like they're like, that happened over a long period of time. I think it's just because I was shredding too hard, honestly.
Yeah, that could be. I'm pretty sure I that's not a good word. Pretty sure I destroyed my first bottom bracket too. There needs to be like a disclaimer for like reasonable service intervals for bottom bracket. There probably is somewhere. Just you have to look.
They should just like, hey, replace your bottom bracket once every 2 years or something. I don't know. Like,
that's kind of because at this point, especially being like a 200-pound or more rider, I feel like I go through bottom bracket every time I go to a shop and have them touch the bottom bracket. They're like, yeah, this is broken. I'm like, man, I'm starting to think every time you guys look at it, it's just broken.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, luckily a bottom bracket's only like $30 or something. It's super cheap.
Oh, really? Okay. To be honest, never priced out a bottom bracket.
I looked at it after they told me, like, they never charge me. They're always, I mean, they charge me, but it's like, they're holding me over the coals. They're always really good about stuff. So it's like, I don't have to worry about it. So I don't even look. But then I looked it up. I was like, what is a bottom bracket price, you know, or whatever. And it was like, it's a really cheap part.
I may do that. I may just go ahead and, I'm just thinking, I'm thinking out loud. Things I got to do when I get that bike frame from Santa Cruz, if I ever get it.
So basically what they said is they're like, this bike's gonna basically feel like an e-bike now. And sure enough, like pedaling today, and I went out to Granite Bay last night, it was like, it feels brand new. So I've got the new shifter, which, you know, has added precision to the shifting. My old GX was just getting a lot of ghost shifts. I'm sure if I spent a lot of time adjusting it, I could probably solve that problem, but it was beat to hell. Sedona especially, a lot of rock strikes and stuff. So,
you know, I will say too, after replacing my shifter and having a new shifter again, it's just a GX. It's cheap. I think it was like $60. Like that's not bad. I will not wait as long as I did to replace that shifter again.
Yeah.
Because like going from my NX the way it was, how bad it was, I'm like, this is how it should feel. Like, why did I stretch that out to the point of failure?
Yeah.
Because it was not good for a long time,
Yeah.
but it wasn't missing. You know, I waited until it literally wouldn't downshift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't always really know until like it's time. Like you, you replace it. You're like, man, I've been suffering longer than I thought. Like I didn't know that I was suffering.
That's true.
And that's partially because like again, on my side, not you, because you know what you're doing, but like I don't always know what the feel is, for example, right? Like what am I feeling that is off from where it should be?
The thing is you get used to it because it's such a gradual degradation, to use a big fancy word. And yeah, I mean, like I said, this is kind of the same deal. And you know, when I was borrowing Robert's bike, it was Axis, so I didn't even, it's completely different.
Yeah.
So it's, I didn't think about it really. But yeah, once I put this on, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, and it's just a GX, and it feels primo compared to what I was on for quite a while. I mean, that was like a nearly 5-year-old shifter, so.
So I've got a business model for Jay, aka Bikesome, who is in here in chat. I think essentially what he should be doing at this point is charging people to ride their bikes and just tune them in for them, like to handle the suspension. That is a viable business model that bike shops do. And then you know, he can size it up, because I always just go, hey Jay, like what should I do here? Because he's the expert. He's the one I've been consulting on for the brakes. So I've been looking at the Hayes Dominion A4s, and I want to buy new brakes, but then I buy the brakes. Okay, then I got to get the rotors. So I got to get the rotors. Fine, fair enough. Those are easy enough to mount. But then they're like, you need the right mounting brackets for the post and for the frame.
Right, spacers,
Yeah, and all this. What spacers do I need? What is this? I messaged Hayes, and they're like, your frame manufacturer should have that info. I'm like, I want you to tell me so I can buy it and give you money. I
just went through this also because I got Shimano XTs for the new frame once it gets here. And apparently, so MRP forks, they all start on a 180 rotor. And for some reason, to go from a 180 to a 203 is a very rare adapter.
Really?
Is what I was told at the bike shop. And it's kind of hard to come by.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is bizarre, because you would think that's a really common thing.
Yeah.
Like 180 is a really common rotor size. Going up to 203 is a really common deal. I was like, why is that such a... Anyway, so they made a point about... Because the bike shop I was talking to could not get them. They're like sold out from their distributor. So anyway, I had to order it online. But I just thought it was bizarre because he's telling me that it's a weird thing. I was like, I don't understand. Like, because 160 to 203 is common.
Yeah.
But 180 to 203 is not.
I wonder like what people are running in chat, because like Jay was saying he's running 220 something up front, and I think he's running like 203 in the back. So he's got a bigger rotor on the front and a smaller rotor on the back.
Yeah, that sounds standard.
Is that normally what you do?
That's how pretty much every other thing, you know, dirt bikes or cars or whatever, you're going to have your stronger braking in the front, less in the back. Because you don't need, I mean, a lot of so it's just like physics. All your inertia is going toward the front wheel. So that's what's really slowing you down. In the back, I mean, it's basically weight. It's almost, you know, it's closer to weightless going into anything because your weight's all forward. So there you go.
I don't know if that's true or not.
That's
I remember
true.
I remember watching a video once, and they said like you should primarily use the back brake going down so you have front control, but like now I'm hearing conflicting reports.
But I mean, if you have that is a technique.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a bigger rotor either.
Okay.
Because if you can only brake the rear so much before it just breaks traction.
Yeah.
And slides. So having more braking power isn't necessarily in your favor.
The term I use in that situation is slip sliding your way to victory.
Etude.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Kyle knows me too well. Slip sliditude to victoriism.
Yeah, that sounds, it rolls right off the tongue.
It's just, it makes a lot of sense.
Totally.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Yeah, this is a cool little 80s theme. Maximum Burmitude.
Maximum Burmitude.
You get a lot of weird looks. People going, what does that mean?
I know.
Is that what the kids are smoking these days? Bro.
I am excited for some maximum Burmitude in the new Nevada City Trail systems that they're building up here. So this is rad. Bonk basically announced last night that they got full authorization to start building trails. And then they post today that they've already cut like a 1,200 feet.
1,200 feet. Like, and then in the same, or I don't know if they might have had multiple, but in a post talking about 1,200 feet, they said that there's a thing going into effect basically where they can't have heavy machinery come March 1st until fall.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we're gonna rough cut the shit out of this.
Yeah.
In our less than a month span, and that's like 3 weeks of this. Yeah, it's literally like 3 weeks. They're gonna try to rough cut as much as possible and then hand build the rest. That's insane. And thank you guys.
Yes. So the cool part about that is if you guys are in chat and aren't familiar with Nevada City, it's a great riding area. This is where Dirt Days was hosted. So if you guys watched the Dirt Days video, you know that. If you watched the video that I put out that was called "This is what a flow trail should be," that was shot in Nevada City. That's on the Hoot Trail. So up there's already 3 like really good trails. There's a bunch of other trails too that are good, but like the great ones are Hoot, Scotts, and Miners. Those are the ones that most people will hit when they're up there.
Right.
And now they've got authorizations to build 5 more trails in that region, and they're saying that one of them is going to be partial jump lines. One of them, it's just going to be like, yeah,
not just 5 trails, 5 downhill specific trails for mountain bikes specifically.
Which is insane. Like for California, it feels like it's just an insane proposition.
It's fantastic.
It's so good for us, but it's like, how do they pull this off?
I'm impressed. We'll see how well that holds up. There's a lot of horse riders out there. I'm sure that they're gonna do a little poaching.
I mean,
little poaching.
How could they? I mean, if I see some horse tracks, we gotta hunt them down, and we're gonna give the horse poop right back to them.
You know, it's in their benefit to not poach that, because if you're, unless you're on like a really well broke horse, you know, if they hear a hub buzzing, like an I-9 hub buzzing from behind, that rider is in danger.
Yeah.
And if that biker is thinking this is a bike specific downhill only trail, they're not thinking, oh, there might be a horse ahead. So very dangerous for those riders.
Now, to be completely fair, I don't think I've ever seen a horse out there riding Hoot, riding Scotts, or riding Miners.
I guess I haven't seen him on the trails. I've seen him congregated around the market.
Because the best part is they do have a lot of trails that can go up and down the highway essentially, and those are like, seems like more horse friendly without the berms, without the other stuff. So I have never seen them on the trails proper. And they probably go around the lake and stuff too, I would assume.
That would be great.
That would be great.
Get a horse.
I don't want a horse, I got a kayak. We can
go
kayak on the lake.
You know the only thing stopping me from having a horse, besides money?
Yeah.
A lot of maintenance, man.
Just like a bike?
Yeah, but you can't just leave a bike in the garage when you don't feel like dealing with it.
Yeah.
All right, no, let me rephrase that. You can just leave a bike in the garage.
What size dropper post does that horse you have on it?
Yeah, well, it depends on how much the bucking.
Oh my God. Oh, we got a big old chat about brakes going on in here in the live stream. Those are good. Yeah, Jay's gonna basically lay down the law for everybody and let them know what they should be using, because it's, you know, we've got a lot of different methods. And what's that you got in your hand, Kyle?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a big old blunt. No, it's a cigar. Yeah. Oliva. Yeah.
Might be cigar time.
Not a full Maduro.
No.
Yeah, I mean, so yours, the one I got you, is a little more mild.
Yep.
It's longer,
yeah.
But mine is more girthy.
So the question is, what do you prefer, girth or length?
Yeah, it's up to you, viewers.
Okay.
And light or dark.
It's true. Look at, hopefully we have s'mores. I usually leave that up to the wife, and she's been busy day today.
It's gonna be tasty.
All right, here you go.
Oh yeah, you're just gonna go straight into it, not gonna toast it like a gentleman. That's cool. All right. We also have some Frey Ranch bourbon that it's gonna be partooken pretty shortly here.
Here you go.
Oh wow, I can't believe I caught that. I am going to be classy and let it toast for a hot sec.
Oh.
You don't go straight on there.
So these cigars are really Vince's idea, and the fact that he's not in here is really, oh, there he is! Yeah, he is in here. This is, we were talking with Vince today, and he says, you know what, I should bring over some cigars, to which I replied, yes, you should, Vince, and to which he replied, he didn't reply, he just didn't show up.
Yeah, that is what happened. We're getting a nice little toast going on here. Almost to that point. This is to ensure a nice even burn all the way around the cigar.
Moon Rabbit, buddy, thanks for jumping in, man. Have a good night. Hopefully you got a good one. I know you guys have, everybody's got Super Bowl Sunday going on tomorrow. Does anybody have particular plans for Super Bowl Sunday? Honestly, I couldn't be less interested in what's about to happen tomorrow, so it's entirely possible that I'll just go ride my bike instead. Kyle, you're going hanging out with your dad, right?
Yeah, we're doing a Super Bowl party with all the fixins, wings, and and beer and sports and manly
Is that all
things.
the fixins for football? Is just wings and beer?
I mean, those are the fixins I'm concerned with. There's probably a bunch of other stuff that's not important.
Just want to be clear that you have now taken approximately 27 minutes to light that cigar.
That's called aficionado status. Okay.
That's called time mismanagement, is what that's called.
Ugh.
What the hell are you doing over there, Kyle?
Putting smoke in my eye. It's gonna be all right. Don't worry about it. I know what I'm doing here. Okay.
Are you guys watching this guy like light a cigar? He's been at it for a while now. It's not a glass of wine, Kyle.
It basically is, though.
How's it going over there, Kyle?
That's super tasty. Well, I reckon this is nice because it's not like burning hot, even after that 5-minute torch.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so we got some Oliva. Well, Oliva. I think Oliva is how I last heard it pronounced. Series O.
Oliva.
There is no I after the V, so I'm going to go with Oliva.
Cal Living says he's going to be riding for Super Bowl. Everyone will be off the trails. That's a great point. And that's like my thoughts exactly, is basically like maybe it's a prime opportunity to get some prime real estate on the trails because the hikers will be gone, the bikers will be gone. And I could shoot some great like what mountain bikers do during the Super Bowl reels, perhaps.
Yeah. This is going to be one of the very few times you'll see Folsom Lake not super packed, possibly.
The Crashing Mom says, Kyle, you are absurd in all the best ways.
I appreciate that comment. That is, dude, let me just, if I can just briefly get into my current obsession, which is some Carhartt overalls I just bought, and I'm trying to get...
Yeah, tell them about this while
I'm
I pour
trying to
some
get a
whiskey.
real nice custom felt somewhere between Indiana Jones and cowboy hat thing going on, and I just have this vision of just doing yard work and going camping and things and just looking like that weird guy with that weird hat and overalls. And that's become my goal in life. That's pretty much that. Yeah.
Okay, stand by, Ray.
Maximum bourbonitude.
Maximum bourbonitude.
Bourbonitude.
I will have everybody know that this particular bottle of Frey Ranch is a barrel pick from the River City Whiskey Society. It's also a single barrel, which means it is 65% alcohol by volume, which is very, very high. And it's entirely possible this live stream is going to get very debaucherous very soon.
Boy, howdy. We just got really classy, though. Can I just say that?
We sure did.
I mean, we got a little glass of bourbon, of barrel-proof bourbon, cigar, a fire, two gentlemen hanging out.
Oh my God, hold on. We're going to catch up, everybody. Don't worry. Okay, we're catching up. Look, here's the deal. Look, here's the deal. We had steaks before this too. It's been getting absolutely ridiculous. The production the production quality going into these live streams is getting way out of hand.
Fires and say one more thing, I'm gonna shoot off my gun, I reckon.
Yeah, now there's just such high expectations. Anybody invite is gonna now expect steak and cigars.
Like, we didn't have cigars on it. All right, so you're
God.
gonna need a full spread in your green room. You know, you got your bourbon, you got multiple choices. Some tequila would be nice too.
Yep.
Appreciate that. And yeah, so some cigar selection. You got some steaks. We're gonna work ribs into the deal.
Yeah, that just takes too much. I want to go ride. Cinder Chick is in here, and she says she might hit the slopes tomorrow. Which, honestly, how could you possibly do it? Is there even any snow up there? Yeah, it's gonna be an icy mess. It has to be. How could it not be?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes.
I don't know. Jesus, Kyle.
What?
I thought we were being classy.
That is class.
No.
Better a burp than out the ass.
No.
Class.
Look, you guys asked for it. You asked for Kyle to come back, and this is what's happened. You've got burps left and right in stereo.
You know the problem I have with cigars and how not often I have them?
Yep.
Is I end up just like smoking right through it and getting it way too hot and ruining it for myself.
Despite the fact that you toasted it for 27 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not saying that I'm correct on everything. It's just that I do everything right, so.
Yeah. So look, here's the deal, Kyle. Some people were reaching out to me
I love it.
about Sedona and what to expect for the Sedona Mountain Bike Fest, newcomers and all that stuff. I thought about producing like some sort of videos like, hey, it's your first time in Sedona, what should you do? Whether or not I have the amount of knowledge necessary to do such a thing, I don't know. But I am a very adamant supporter of anybody getting out there for the first time. And honestly, I don't want to hear any excuses from anybody, because what is their excuse? That they can't drive 12 hours? 12 hours is a very minimal amount of time in the amount of time you live for your entire life. That's nothing. That's very inconsequential.
That's a pretty long drive.
Yeah, it's not that bad though.
It's a long enough drive to where the state of California minimally has made it a law that as a CDL driver, you're not allowed, technically as any driver commercially, you're not allowed to drive more than 12 hours for work in a day.
Sure, but you could do what we did. And what did we do? We took a pit stop at your mom's house, and you know, we wined and dined.
Basically what you're saying is if you want to go from Sacramento to Sedona, hit me up, hit my mom up, stay at my mom's house, apartment. I mean, it might get pretty cramped in there pretty quick.
Yeah, sure did.
If you're real nice, you might be able to snuggle her up.
I'll in the you know, not the comments down below, but in the description down below, I'll list her number. It's fine. You guys can take advantage of the service. Yeah. It's provided.
She's right down the street from MTB Allen.
That's true. They're in the same town, and it was funny that we stayed there, and we were like, oh, it just so happens that MTB Allen's right here. It was like, this is perfect. So we hit him up. We ended up doing breakfast after Sedona and all that stuff, and having a great coffee shop, which is right next to your mom's house.
Yeah.
Great stories, great times. But what I am saying is that Sedona Mountain Bike Fest is coming back up like really quick. In fact, it's only like less than 20 days or something, and I have decided to go again. Spokesman MTB said he's got a spot. I'm gonna crash with him. I've got a bike lined up. I'm flying into Phoenix. I gotta figure out the ride situation from Phoenix to Sedona. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm gonna wing it, and probably it'll be fine. But like, I'm going back out, and it is one of the coolest mountain bike experiences ever. Like, it was so rad. Like, one, you've got a lot of people there that you run into that you happen to know, like big YouTubers, all that other stuff, but manufacturers that you like. There's manufacturers out there you dig. It's just a cool experience. And the riding is like unquestionably amazing, right? Like,
yeah, Sedona's one of those, so Sedona's one of those places you want to tell everyone about and that you don't want to tell everyone about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not quite undiscovered, but it's not that well known.
Yeah.
It's pretty well known nowadays, but you know, it's like, man, it's just one of those places you should visit. If not for mountain biking, then for whatever. Like, this guy got four-wheeling, fantastic hiking, mountain biking, and you know, probably other things. But
in my opinion, like the Mountain Bike Fest is the perfect opportunity to get out there, because the crowdedness is part of the charm, I think. I thought it was fun running into people constantly, and like we kept running into people like you know, Heather Muniv was like riding with her crew, and we would pass her, or you know, whoever else, and you would just kept running into people that you knew, and you would just like make new friendships. I imagine if you went to that festival and just started hanging out, you go to the film festival, you talk to people, it's like this great opportunity to kind of like just share the thing that we love.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like a big social media gathering too, because I mean, like even I, like when we went there, I went and met and talked to and recognized people that I didn't even think that I'd see there or whatever. You know, a bunch of different people. It's like Riding My Best Life, Mediocre Mountain Biker.
Yeah.
You know, everyone, you just kind of like run into them all, and then you all congregate and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Meet at the restaurants, whatever.
And it's totally true. You ended up just like running into people. You're like, holy crap, like, what's up, man? Like, so that's a really fun element, because you don't get that a lot, especially if it's a place that people are going to come from across the country. Like Josh came into town, and you know, that's somebody that I've always wanted to hang out with, and we got a chance to hang out with. So it's like,
it's the first time I met Josh.
I know, same here.
We had a big hug. We didn't record it, unfortunately, but big hug. A little bit of butt touching.
Yeah, there was a lot of it at butt touching, if you ask me.
It got pretty frisky, but what can I say?
Josh cracks me up. By the way, if you guys don't know who we're talking about, is daily MTB rider. Josh cracks me up because we get to the shop. He shows up from the airport in a minivan or whatever he had. He brings his bike out of the pack, throws it on the ground. Like, no, like Robert put it in a stand.
Let's set this up even more.
Yeah.
So when we get to the bike shop, Robert and his little gang, they're all like utilizing the entire bike shop to build their bikes up out of their bags. Dude, you know what I mean? That wasn't weird or anything. It was like, it looked natural.
Yeah,
you know, they're all doing their whole thing, getting all the bikes together, and then a little bit later, Josh comes up and is like, literally just built this bike up at the back of his van, his rental van. Yeah. Just like whipped it up in like 2 minutes. I was like, oh, it's fine. My rear brake feels a little wonky, but it's cool. The brake feels cushy. It just like knocked it out. I was like, man, that is
It was so good.
That's experience.
Yeah, the fact that, again, like everybody had their bike on bike stands, they were getting the proper tools, and
that's
Josh
hilarious.
whips it out, throws the bike in the parking lot, just throws it out and just reassembles. He's like, it should be fine. And then, of course, his brake was giving him trouble the whole time, and yet he still conquers the white line.
Yeah, and then right after the white line, when he ran straight into that rock, or whatever you want to call it.
You got that on video. I know you did.
I don't know if I did.
Somebody did.
Somebody did.
Dude, but like, Sedona's got this technical riding. We've talked about it before, but I'm talking about it again because it's coming up soon and people were talking about it. It's got this technical riding that we just don't see here very often, which is one of the reasons you and I went to Rockville today, because I do want to get some prep going in. Again, I want to tackle Highline. What was the trail that we did not do last time?
Hangover.
Hangover. We didn't do Hangover. And some people say it's overrated. Like, Robert's not a big fan.
I don't say it's overrated.
It is rated?
I do not say it's overrated.
So it's properly rated?
It is properly rated. Yeah, I guess so.
Meaning like it's worth riding, basically, right?
I would say it's 100% worth riding if you are a capable rider.
Okay.
Which you are.
Yeah.
So I mean, the climb up to the saddle, that kind of sucks. Everything from the saddle to the end was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about with the saddle, go ride it.
I haven't. So hopefully, I don't know what crew I'm going to have assembled this time, but I would love to tackle it this time. Maybe Josh can take me and really just put me on some death-defying situations. Who knows how this is going to work out? I think it's a bad idea having Josh lead the charge.
There are some like white line worthy lines on there. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
By the way, guess who just jumped in here? The Lone Ranger, who rode with Johan Borelli on a ski bike in one of his most recent videos. And I could not stop like smiling through the whole video, because if you haven't watched this video, Johan the whole time is just, it seems like he's just having an absolute blast. And like,
that's awesome.
You know, he's breaking it down on like how Johan's thought process and like how he conquers things. You know, he just like always wants to, but like Johan the whole time is just like laughing and giggling, and just like the whole time you're watching the video, you're just smiling because it looks like a great day. It's like somebody who really just loves adventure. And just like,
that's
so
the best
good.
kind of YouTube video, when you've been watching it and you're 3/4 of the way through and you realize you had a grin the whole time. You're like, I've been looking like an idiot this whole time.
I know, man.
This is good content.
I couldn't stop laughing. It was so good. And just Johan, just this infectious laughter. And it's like, man, such a personality. It's like, I don't know a lot about Johan. I've heard about him and I've watched some stuff, but it's like now it's like, man, I'm a huge fan, because it's like, just looked like he was just having an absolute blast. And those guys were just shredding. And he was just tackling jumps right out of the gate. Never ridden a ski bike before. It was like just preposterously good. It was so fun.
I'm going to go watch that. I had not seen that, but I'm going to go watch it.
It was so fun, man.
The jump part, I'm very curious about. That's one thing about those that, I mean, those things are relatively limited in their capabilities.
Yeah. Not when you've got two capable riders in charge.
That's the thing, yeah. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can get away with probably anything. But I'm curious to see how. I'm definitely going to watch that.
So if you guys are in chat, are you going out to Sedona this year again? I know November, it actually turned out perfect because the weather was perfect. Like, everything about it lined up just well. I wasn't originally planning on going again. But again, the stars aligned. I said, forget about it. I want to go anyways. And so I'm going to go for a shorter trip. I know some people are talking about going Thursday and lining up a ride in South Mountain, which is South Mountain is also another technical challenge, super fun to ride.
Yeah.
I would love to, but I got a work trip that's leading me till almost midnight. I get back Thursday night. I got to fly out Friday morning or something to get to Sedona. And so I've got to get from Phoenix up to Sedona and then hang Friday night. I love the idea of maybe doing a live stream like this in Sedona, but that would basically only leave Saturday afternoon-ish, because like if we want to go out and grab dinner or something between everybody, there's like that limited hours to actually do it. So logistic, it might not work.
The thing about Sedona, you'll notice, I feel like a lot of YouTubers don't even do videos on Sedona, at least anymore, because especially around the Sedona Bike Fest, everyone I think gets caught up in the moment, and it's just like you just want to enjoy yourself, like, and you should. Like it's kind of like it should be like the mountain bike YouTubers retreat.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you go there, you meet all the other YouTubers, you hang out, you just have a good time. It's not a good time. It's not really a good time. Well, I mean, I was gonna say not really a good time to produce content. It can be entertaining, but it's harder to be in the moment and be thinking about that. I think it's a good place to just go and enjoy the moment. It's
totally true, but then I go back and watch your videos and Jay Bikesum's videos, and like it was a great behind the scenes, and it really captured like the fun that we had, because like the video I made was fun, but I don't feel like it captured like the individual experience more as like the grander experience, kind of, right? So like what you guys did was kind of like what we did as a group, and it was like better at capturing like the fun that we had behind the scenes, and like almost to me that's almost funner because like that's like that's our diary, that's our little
that was my goal, because even though I was filming, it's pretty much all POV, and I was like, I was just being in the moment with it recording, so that doesn't make a great video, but for me, I still go back and look at my Sedona video from 2018 or whatever it was, something like that. I think it was 2018 with RC and JF Rides, and we just had a great time. And we were actually particularly ornery on the last day riding Hangover, and none of that comes through on the video, which is just great, because it's like, it's trim the fat. Somehow you get this great vibe the whole time. And I go back and watch the video, I was like, man, you'd think I was in such a good mood, but me and RC were both bitchy the whole day.
Well, why were you guys so bitchy?
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I was just kind of ornery that whole weekend for some reason. I couldn't explain it. I told him, I was open about it. I was like, nah, I don't know why, but I'm kind of feeling sassy.
I will say, like, I could see fatigue set in a little bit because we were driving nonstop. We were hanging out nonstop. Like oftentimes having time to yourself lets you cool down. Plus, not cool down, but like just kind of regain your mental aptitude. But we were together all the time, and I never felt in a bad way that was a bad thing in any ways. But like sometimes, like not entertaining, but we're always having fun and stuff. It's like you don't get a chance to kind of cool and relax and then come back strong, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's part of it. We were all staying in the same hotel room.
Yep.
And and I don't know. Sometimes I just don't jive. No, I really don't think I had a good excuse that time. Sometimes you just are moody.
It's fine.
It's that time of the month.
And that's totally okay. Like, it's like the best friends that could recognize you're in that state and just try to like either help bring you out of it or just let you alone and be like, hey, he's just chilling.
To be fair, let him go. That day on Hangover was also when I hit what I believe is my record number of sneezes. I had the worst allergies, and I think we stopped counting at like 24. When we were on this long climb because we just rode from the Bike Fest to Hangover because we couldn't get a shuttle or whatever it was, and so I was like pretty irritated because we had this long climb, then I couldn't stop sneezing. I was like, this is hell. We haven't even gotten to the trail yet.
Why did you leave this out of the video? I would love to see you like angry and sneezing the whole time.
I think RC might have put it on Instagram or something at the time. I think there was like a story involved, but oh, it's miserable. I was so bummed.
This is your perfect opportunity to go back and look at the footage, and if you've got you being cranky and sneezy, it could be like Cranky and Sneezy in Sedona. That could be the title of the video, and it could be just like you guys just getting cranky.
I guarantee I've deleted all of that unedited footage. I've cleansed a lot of old unedited footage that I knew I wasn't gonna ever touch.
It's a goddamn travesty.
Yeah, it's a
It's a goddamn travesty. So the bottom line is I am going back out. I don't think Shane's going. I think Shane's in here, by the way. Crashing Dad's in here. Good to see you, buddy. I know Brian Gong is going. War Within, of course, is going. War Within's my new best friend. I would love to see more people. Like the only reason I'm not road tripping again and taking you guys with me is because it's such I got that work trip and I'm like basically just right there. I don't have time to drive.
Yeah, my life situations aren't panning out for me to be there this time anyway. So unfortunately, I'm gonna miss this one.
But like I've run into people here on the trails that like I'm like, have you gone to Sedona Mountain Bike Fest? Like they almost imagine it as this.
You haven't gone to Sedona Bike Fest?
You haven't gone to the festival?
Ow.
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 Ow. Ow.
Ow.
Ow.
Ow.
Ow.
Ow.
Simpleton. Ow.
Ow.
Okay.
Okay, that's enough. All right.
That's enough.
Yeah, so, but like they almost treat it as like this unattainable situation where it's like Sedona, that's really far away. What I'm saying is it's not. Like it's not that far.
Yeah.
Like gas money's cheap enough, like realistically. But like, all right, think about it. Hear me out for a second. If you ever went to the store and bought a thing of iced tea and you look at the cost, you pay like $4.
If you're going to start associating gas and tea, people are going to start throwing gas in harbors and we're going to have a big problem.
Yeah, it's going to be, and the British are going to come attack us. It's going to be a lot. But look, what I'm saying is if you look at the price of like orange juice or something, if you do that per gallon, like it is way more expensive than gas. Like we still live in a world where it's pretty cheap.
On tea.
You can fuel it on orange juice. Have you tried? I've got a flux capacitor that I recently installed. Speaking of being a bike mechanic, right? I got a flux capacitor on the Colorado Kid Adventure Mobile, and it is stunning.
I'm thinking we've delved into fiction land.
I don't appreciate your tone of voice, Kyle.
Dude, if you could, well, you do got an orange tree here, so it's not that unbelievable. You
I
just
know.
pull them. I mean,
know.
how efficient would that be? You know, have they even tried? I mean, they're talking about like hydro and electric vehicles.
This is the next step. Citrus
Have
power.
they tried oranges? I'm just asking.
Citrus power.
Citrus is powerful, man. Acidity.
Look, if they can do it in Dune with spice, why can't we
the
do it with
spice
orange
must
peels?
flow.
You know?
Yeah, I found that I don't know if you keep up with the Boba Fett thing, but they've kind of brought the spice into that, and I found it interesting.
I haven't yet. People keep telling me to stick with this whole Boba Fett show, but here's the
Yeah,
truth. Like,
do
they're
it.
like, oh, it's gonna pay off. I'm like, all right, but okay, all right, we're gonna go on a tangent real quick. This is a side topic moment, so if you guys here are watching the live stream and you wanna just go grab a beer out of the fridge, it's fine, but here we go.
Yeah.
That episode 3 of Boba Fett, where they get the chase sequence in the little Vespers or whatever, was the worst chase sequence I've ever seen on film. If you guys haven't seen this, I literally fast forwarded through it because it was so cringy.
You're talking when they're with the train?
No, it was like when they were getting chased in town and they had the little multiple colored Vespers and those little
Yeah.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen ever, and I fast forwarded through it. I've never done that before.
Here's the thing. So for me, I just love the Star Wars universe. You know, I just got back from Disneyland, you know, humble brag.
Look at this guy
flex.
name dropping on us.
So in Disneyland, they had the whole Star Wars experience. And
Yeah.
it's like kind of puts you in that world. And for me, I just love that world. It's like I like to be in that. So things like that, I can just look past it. I'm like, this bit isn't for me, but overall, you know, the mean, you know, the average, it's there. You know,
Okay.
It's still the universe.
I have heard that it gets better with age. Like the later episodes get really good. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'll jump back into it. I did catch it.
Mandalorian comes into it, so
Oh, okay, does it really?
yeah.
Well,
so,
spoiler alert.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, if you're kind of turned off with the Boba Fett series, that brings everyone involved.
Yeah.
It kind of brings it all together.
Okay, yeah, and as expected, we have lost viewers as a result of this, but it's fine. It was worth. It was
We
worth
didn't need those anyway.
It was worth the tangent. Thanks everybody for jumping in and being patient with us tonight. My head is especially shiny tonight. We did go on a good ride, and I did cook steaks over a fire, and now I've got another fire going. There's just a lot of fire involved tonight,
Yeah.
so you know.
You're not shiny. You're glistening.
Yeah. So Lone Ranger says he had to hit mute. Yeah, I haven't watched 3 yet. 3 was really. Oh no, yeah, you almost spoiled it for everybody, Kyle.
It's fine. It's not that big a spoiler.
Okay. Well, I've only watched episode 3. It is the greatest travesty in film history. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well,
I would rather, they should have put, here's what they should have done, and I'm gonna say this right now, and this is unequivocal truth. What they should have done is literally had the whole episode, and then when that sequence was about to happen, cut to Johan Borelli and riding something, and like it would have been exponentially greater.
it's just like, what do you call it when you like do the face imaging? You just like move the, you know, they've put
Yeah.
the face on the thing.
Deep fake,
Yeah,
deep
something
fake
like that.
it.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Kyle.
That'd be pretty amusing.
So like, all right, so Sedona's coming up. We talked about that. If we were to like give suggestions on like things to do, if you're going to Sedona for the first time, what would you say?
If you're going to Sedona for the first time, okay, here's the deal. Most important thing, find someone that knows the trails and go with them. Go ride with them. I think a lot of the trails out there by yourself, kind of running blind, not going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You kind of have to have that group dynamic where you're not thinking that much about the climbs, especially because it's a lot. There's not that much payoff for the climbing. It's kind of the experience as a whole.
Yeah.
Is what makes it worth it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So
Here's what we'll say also, in terms of finding somebody to ride with that knows the trails, they actually do organize a good amount of group rides. Like if you look at the calendar, if you look at a lot of like different people like Trail Monos and all these other groups will organize group rides, and you can go ride with like Rob Drew or somebody else. And then it's probably a little bit tamer because the more people you get, the harder it is to group ride.
Yeah.
But then there's a situation where you're not planning anything. You just kind of show up and you go, and that's the ideal scenario.
Well, and the one good thing too about a group ride is people will naturally kind of find their pace, and people that ride at their pace. You know, there would be the people that go ahead and do everything really quick like, and there are the people that fall back. You just kind of like talk with those people.
Yeah.
They may want to keep riding with you because y'all are same pace, you know. Networking.
Classic, classic. That's what, and again, like one of the best parts that's come out of this whole mountain bike thing, whether it's mountain bike YouTubing or whatever else, or just maybe riding mountain bikes in general, it just so happens that I'm a bit of an extrovert, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't say.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm good at like talking to people. And so whenever I ride, I'm very when I pass somebody, I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? Like, what's up? Like I always try to talk. But now, like, sometimes you'll run into people that have headphones on or something, or they just generally don't care. Here's the thing I've run into sometimes on the bike trails where they don't actually speak English. And that happens not on the mountain bike trails so much as like the American River Bike Trail where I'm cruising and I'll be like,
okay.
Like say for example, a dad's riding with his kid and he's got a little Mohawk helmet on. I'm like, that's a rad helmet. Like it's very clear immediately that they didn't know what I said because like they look at me like, what the hell? You know, like
yelling at me?
Yeah, they give me this look like, did he just tell us to get out of the way? No, because the tone of voice is like, that's a rad helmet. Like it's like that, you know?
If you don't know what to say.
And so it's like very obvious
that's hilarious.
that they are not up to speed of what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, now because I'm just zooming by. It's not like I'm stopping to be like, nice helmet. Like that looks really good. I'm just zooming by like, rad helmet. And they think at this point that I'm just berating them.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick pro tip, by the way. I don't know if you've ever done this, but you ever dip the smoking end of the cigar in the whiskey?
No, like a Monica Lewinsky style?
What?
Monica Lewinsky style?
I'm not sure I get the joke.
You don't get that joke?
Dip in the whiskey? I guess. Like
wow.
the Pen and Company ink?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have discovered the limitations of Kyle's age. He is not familiar with the Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky scandal.
No, I'm familiar with that. I just don't understand what cigars and bourbon have to do with it.
Are you familiar with the fact that she stuck a cigar in her hoo-ha for Bill Clinton?
Oh, no. Wasn't aware of that. But I'm talking about bourbon, not hoo-ha. So, I mean, I can't guarantee you're going to have the same result as a Monica. But the cigar in the bourbon is a real thing. It's a good thing. People do it. It's recommended.
Yeah, we slowed that chat down real fast, didn't we?
Okay.
Hey, you know what we do here. Yep, that's right.
Scandals. From cigars and bourbon to political scandals, Colorado Kid live streams.
Oh my God, yeah. So Cal Living says, I was part of the project of building Star Wars Land. Kyle, as a side note, like Kyle and I spent a lot of time on the car driving down to Rockville today talking about Star Wars and the immersion and some of the things that we really enjoy about stuff. And so Kyle's really all about it.
I was gonna say, that was one thing I actually touched on, was that in that Star Wars land, if you really look closely, you find all kinds of like modern industrial things, you know, junction boxes or whatever, that they've like turned into, you know, Star Wars looking deals. And it's really cool. Well, even like, so when you're waiting in the line for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, they have electrical and whatnot plumbed, not plumbed, but you know, they have it ran like you would see it in kind of like a roughed camp style. Instead of it being all hidden.
Yeah,
you know,
they purposely put it as an industrial look.
They put it in like an insulated deal and running it along as, I mean, I was just looking at everything and it's all, some of it's like real electrical.
Yeah.
And you can see, and I was like chasing the wires, thinking about it, I was like, oh man, just from like kind of a trades kind of point of view, it's really amusing. And yeah, I mean, they put a ton of work into it. Every little like details, like really neat.
I do, yeah, I do really like when they spend the time to build those worlds. And like, and again, we're on another side topic. So if you guys came here for mountain biking specifically, like we talked a lot of tech early on.
We got the mountain biking out of the way right at the beginning. We got the main course first, and now, you know, then we had maybe some appetizers and we're working on dessert.
Yep.
Yeah, and then some aperitifs.
We got to have some charcuteries.
Charcuteries.
Okay, look, let's
here,
I don't like I don't like the pronunciation of charcuterie. Charcuterie? Charcuterie? Is that what it is?
Charcuterie.
I don't like it. Just like I don't like pronouncing this a derailleur. Yeah. Even though it's technically a derailleur.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have Googled, or not Googled, I have looked up on YouTube all kinds of things with derailleurs, including looking at derailleurs on websites to buy, yada yada. Couldn't tell you how to spell it. I look up D-E-R-A, there it is, okay.
If it's one thing I've discovered, that's about 80% of my spelling at this point. Even like little words like tank or something. I'm like,
just waiting for the autofill.
And there it is. Yeah, that's all like, we're complete idiots. Like, I remember like when we focused in school, the idea was that like, oh, you need to be able to do this on your own. You need to be able to just have a book in front of you and figure it out. Now it's like, I wonder if in schools, if they're actually allowing kids to have phones or whatever in front of them, because we are never going to not have technology in front of us, at least for the foreseeable future until the old EMPs launch or whatever.
Remember that time in math class where they're like, you're not always going to have a calculator on you? Yeah, lies.
Dirty, dirty lies.
Lied to.
Dirty, dirty lies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw some more logs on this fire. Look at this. Third camera, I went back to the GoPro tonight, completely abysmal. I'm never using it again.
Oh man, I have missed cigars.
Yeah?
Yeah, cigars are one of those things though where, similar to like you have pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
These are kind of things where I try to keep them minimal now because when I'm older and I'm less concerned with longevity, that's when I can just kind of go to town and have more often. Or so I tell myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you're young, having cigars on the regular, don't recommend it. But on occasion, 10 out of 10.
I don't know. I know guys that smoke like 4 cigars a week or more and stuff. Like, I don't know. I do it like once every few months, honestly, it seems like.
That's
I just don't smoke that much.
Honestly, for me, actually what I do, in my head, I think I smoke cigars occasionally. What I do is I go through phases.
Yeah.
Just like fishing or anything. I get really into it for a period of time, then I'm like, I have gone a little carried away. And then 2 years later, I'm like, oh man, I miss cigars. Let me check on my humidor. Oh, it's dried out. Cool.
Yeah,
I got everything in there is all junk. Because that's the thing, if you're going to have an inventory of cigars, you have to keep up on it. And that's just,
every single time I look at the humidor, it's like, oh, I forgot to add that fluid. Like, it's just constantly
it's been
useless.
Like 2 years since I put anything in my humidor.
It's like I would rather just go buy them fresh every time and go through the inconvenience. Even though it's like a beautiful humidor, the wife bought it from me years ago and it holds like 100 cigars.
Cheaper if you buy in bulk, you know, a box or like a 5-pack or 10-pack or whatever.
Sure.
But then you have to upkeep them, and if you bought a 10-pack or a box or whatever, then you don't maintain your humidor, you've just wasted half that or whatever. So it ends up balancing out to just buy them one at a time.
Yep. So Jay says the GoPro footage looked whack, at least this third camera, and it's completely true. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to go buy another $800 camera to make this thing function.
That seems like the right thing to do.
Oh my God, it's just never ending.
Yeah, well, it's not my money, so I say do it.
You know, like, yeah, we talk about the idea of this fireside chat, and I love it. I love it because we sit here, we talk, and it's much easier to sit here and talk. I don't, you know, when you get people in front of a camera, it's still really fun, but every guest that I've had doing a live interview like this has all agreed that it's just so fun to sit down and actually talk to people, like versus like what we always do, which is like, not Zoom, but like StreamYard or something else. It's still good, you still get the information across, but hanging out is great. So it's like worth investing in the tech to do it. Like who wants to spend an hour and a half setting up like I do?
There's a very notable dynamic between two people talking in person versus over some sort of medium like Zoom or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of podcasts do a really good job of somehow maintaining that. Well, a lot of times too, with that, you know, you have a host, co-host in the same room with a guest, so at least you have some of that dynamic.
Yeah.
But a lot of that is lost when you have, you know, that internet connection between you two.
Yep.
That's how I feel about it.
That's totally true.
I think it's just a natural psychology thing where.
I agree completely. But like, here's the thing. Why is it that GoPro can invent 9 iterations at least? And that's actually more because they had plus versions of stuff at some point. How can they invent all these cameras, yet they can't figure out how to get simple low light performance to work? Look at this. There is adequate light. Look at this camera, perfectly fine. Look at that camera, perfectly fine. Look at this mess of a camera. Kyle, you want to come look at this? Kyle, you come look at this.
All right.
He's having a hard time getting up.
It's just one of those things where if you've been puffing on the old cigar and you stand up for the first time, you start to feel it. Okay.
Look at this grainy mess. Hi, there's a great camera.
That's good.
Hi, there's a grainy mess of a camera.
That is very grainy.
Okay, go back to your spot, Kyle.
Okay.
You've been here long enough.
That's a
Kyle.
high ISO.
You see my point, but like, how is it that we're at this point in technology where they got a Hero 10, Hero 9, all this stuff, like they've got all this stuff, but they cannot figure how to produce any workable low light situation. Not only that, but people that are using GoPros, I've looked at footage like at, say for example, Santa Cruz, where all it is, it's totally light outside except for you're in the canopy, essentially, all these trees, and you go inside and the footage starts to be unusable because it's low light enough that the stabilization won't even work. It's like, how can we not figure this out?
What do you do for your, I mean, this is not going to be entertaining, but do you set an ISO max and do you set like okay.
This is max at 6400.
Okay.
That's nothing. This Sony camera right here can go to ISO 1,000,000 and be fine. Like, trust me, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess there's a reason why it costs $5,000.
Yeah. Do you like set frame rates and all that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because Paul will yell at me if I don't.
Yeah, that's true.
If you guys are familiar with Paul the Punter, yes, we've spoke about him earlier, and I like to speak about him because he keeps me in check quite a bit. It's always like, Joe, you're not using neutral density filters. I'm like, no, I'm not, Paul. Well, I am actually. But like, he gave me crap for putting the ND filters on the bottom of my bag. He's like, they could break. I'm like, yeah, then I'll buy new ones. Like, whatever. I mean, how much can I worry about this stuff?
Oh man, that's one point of view. Yeah, they're not that cheap.
What I'm saying is, I'm disappointed in GoPro's performance, and the fact that they come up with these incremental upgrades, like they literally, okay, there goes, again, this is called the, there goes my sponsorship section of the stream. They literally released a GoPro 10 from a GoPro 9, and people went and bought them, and there is no change. Like, there's basically nothing different about this camera. Like, people bought them, but like, if you had a 9, there's no reason to upgrade. And like, maybe you guys in chat can tell me if you're using the 10 versus the 9, like, realistically, come on. Come on, man. What I want to see is, like, they've adopted the Apple model and every other phone manufacturer model where they take a product and they do this like, oh, we added a little bit more memory and we made the cameras a little bit better. And you're like, whoa, sick, new product. But we're in this cycle where it's not like a monumental upgrade. And that's what disappoints me about this stuff. I want to see, like, I will say the stabilization is impressive. Because remember when everybody's rocking gimbals and all this stuff, and that day and age is almost gone.
I'm looking forward to, well, I mean, we're pretty much there, at least for POVs. I'm pretty sure gimbals are just about phased out.
Yeah.
And I like that because that's more things to go wrong. They're pretty obnoxious. I mean, we've all ridden with them pretty much. And yeah, I mean, I like anything basically Hero 7 up for stabilization seems pretty solid to me. I mean, it's not as stable, but I think that's good. I don't like when it's 100% stable. Doesn't give you any idea that the terrain.
But here's what I will say, like, go look at Lone Ranger's footage, and he will occasionally rock a gimbal still because then he can control the light. Like, the stabilization fails in low light situations. So if you're still rocking a gimbal, you're not counting on the internal stabilization. You get a bigger image, right? It's not cropped as much. And you can still control, like, I think he's using a 9 or a 10 with a gimbal still, because then you can get rid of that digital stabilization, and he can manage the frame rate, so he's getting smooth, like, buttery footage versus, you know, like, it's just, we go down this rabbit hole of, like, is it good enough? And I think at this point we're at the stage where it is good enough. It's good enough. But if you want that perfect scenario, it's like you gotta have the right lighting, you gotta have, because like even Brian recently put a video out on the flow trail, and there are portions of it where it's dark enough. Santa Cruz is always like that, where the footage just the light just screws up the stabilization. Now you've got a jittery mess, which is right back to square one. It's right back where we were.
Fascinating. I think you can also adjust the gimbals to be less, you know, like the speed of stabilization, so it can have a little bit more of that. But I haven't gotten into that. I just, I have what you call, I don't care that much syndrome. So, yeah, that's the benefit of not having a big YouTube channel. This doesn't matter.
Honestly, I don't even use that much GoPro footage in my videos anymore, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. Like, it's really just a rant on the
the other
situation.
thing I'm thinking about is that if you're using that much POV, you either have a following already that's honestly probably not that concerned, because they're probably watching it for you and your commentary at that point. And I don't think you're gonna, at this point, I don't think you're gonna gain a lot of subscribers doing a lot of POV.
But like, okay, so there's plenty of people that are doing it, and it looks fantastic, again, in the proper lighting conditions, but it's like, there's still these weak points that need to be addressed. And I know we've gone on a big tangent, but like, here's another example, the wide angle mod, which is like still only capable of shooting 2.7K instead of shooting 4K. And it's like, why? My phone can shoot in a ultra wide mode, basically like a mega wide angle lens at 4K. My phone can do that.
Yeah,
but yet we've got this. I know the s'mores are here, but we're not going to whip the s'mores out yet.
I'm not going to let you ignore that. I'm just saying, like, they're here.
I know,
you know.
I know. But like, the phone can do it. Why can't the GoPro, this massive piece of technology, the GoPro 10 can't even do 4K with the old wide angle lens? That's all.
Yeah, these are also what you might call champagne problems. First world problems, things of that nature. You know.
Kyle, I hate it when you're right.
Yeah.
Okay?
You know, I just like to take a step back, get some perspective. You know, that's all. That's all I'm saying. But then again, I'm also not relying on YouTube for anything whatsoever. So it's like, if you're making a living on it, yeah, that stuff should be important.
But it's not just that. It's like, what do you expect out of products? Do you expect?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like, I feel like we're getting gypped. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's kind of just what the market is right now. And GoPro, the other thing they have is there's not that much. I mean, there's more competition nowadays.
Yeah.
But there's not really that much. I mean, GoPro
There's
has
not,
so
yeah.
established that they can do that. They can get away with pretty much putting the same thing out with a different number. And, you know, on some level, more power to them.
Yeah, if you want more whiskey, there it is. It's true, the competition is sparse. Like if you look at the DJI stuff, like the fact that they're counting on magnets to hold it onto your chest is absurd. Like you would never catch me putting on a magnet just to like hope that thing would stay on. It's silly. You put a little breastplate under your shirt,
Wow.
then you slap it to it and it sticks with the magnet. It's like
That's
that
brave.
goofy looking camera. No, thank you.
That better be a really strong magnet.
That's what I'm saying. Have you ever crashed?
Yes.
As have I. I have crashed as well. And that camera's gonna go flying.
Yeah, one would think. And there's nothing worse than a good crash going to waste because the camera flew off. I tell you what.
By the way, Crashing Mom says, Kyle, have you been listening to Taylor Swift again? Champagne problems. Apparently that's a Taylor Swift thing.
Believe it or not, that's kind of funny actually. That makes a lot of sense in a certain way. I think I first heard that from Matt Best, who's like the antithesis of Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
He's on the Black Rifle Coffee deal anyway. But yeah, that's funny because that just tells me that he listens to Taylor Swift. It's like kind of like the essence of manhood. Yeah, I mean, go T Swifty.
Yeah. T Swifty, huh? Wow, it's true. It is confirmed, Crashing Mom, 100%.
I think I got that from The Rock, actually.
Wait, how many social media influences do you have?
Have you not seen Lip Sync Battle? It was on like VH1 or something. I see it on YouTube.
VH1, Kyle?
It was on YouTube.
I thought I was
think
the
it
older
initially
one
aired.
of the two of us.
Yeah. Well, you are. Don't forget that.
That is true, but VH1,
It
Kyle?
may have been after your time. Maybe that's what it was. So, well, that's the thing. I think it aired on VH1, but I always see them on YouTube.
My
Anyway,
grandpa used to watch VH1.
I think it was The Rock and Jimmy Fallon, maybe? Anyway, they had a little battle, and T Swift was involved, so it's cool.
Good old T Swift.
Look it up. Look it up.
My God.
Leave this right now and go look up Lip Sync
I'm
Battle.
not going to look it up right now, Kyle.
No,
Look,
not
this is
you.
bottom
I'm
line.
talking to your viewers. Get out of
Yeah.
here. Go watch something of value.
No, stay here. We need viewers, Kyle. That's what we want.
Oh.
We want viewers.
Okay. All right. Well, stick around, and then afterward, Lip Sync Battle.
Dear God.
it's-
By the way,
Yeah.
as a side note, if you guys haven't hit the like button for this live stream, hit the like button. Apparently it matters.
Yeah, hit it twice for good measure.
No, because if you hit it twice, it undoes it.
Oh.
Don't
Well,
do that.
you can also hit that dislike button, but nobody's gonna know because we can't see that now.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about the dislike button. I don't think it really matters. Like
Yeah.
I've never like got enough mass quantity on my videos
just to
to
briefly
care.
touch on this, because
Yeah.
this is a pretty overblown topic, but just to briefly touch on it, the one thing I have seen and that I agree with is that, and Trail Features was talking about it.
Yeah.
Basically, if there's a video with bad information, no one's gonna see that it's like 10-to-1 dislike to like ratio.
Yeah.
And they may take that bad information as fact because that's the era we live in.
Yep.
It's on the internet, it must be true. So in that regard, the dislikes can be beneficial because you can see, okay, this is probably not credible, or at least it's very controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a benefit of it.
It makes
being there.
sense. Yeah, like if I was to do like a bike maintenance video and everybody would tune in and be like, everything you did was wrong. Like
Yeah.
basically is what would happen. And
But
then
if
like
you have
now
a
there's
bunch
no
of views
there's
and
no
you have
checks.
like 2,000
Yeah.
3,000 likes, even though there's like 15,000 dislikes,
Yep.
everyone's like, oh, well, this seems legit.
Yeah. So it's like, it's interesting because like, yeah, you can spread disinformation easier.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to prevent people's psychology, but like how many terrible comments can you get on YouTube that really affect you if you've gotten enough of them at this point? You're just kind of like, you know, I'm used to it at this point.
Yeah, well, we'll be wrapped in bubble wrap at some point soon, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like, yeah, it's,
manage your own psychology on some level.
it's tricky, but you got to be able to like have a thick enough skin, I suppose, to deal with those comments,
If
or
you're-
just not even pay attention. I knew at one point Brian was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna stop paying attention to YouTube
That's-
comments because they're
that's the thing.
ridiculous." Like I remember at one point when Brian bought Everstoke
Mm-hmm.
and started putting Everstoke videos out, for example, right? And like to me, it's the culmination of a lifelong dream for someone who I've known for a long time, who's always wanted to do that and has been
Yeah.
working on that for years. And it's like finally came into fruition. And he's stoked to show it. And then some guys are like, "Oh, you're just following the trend where you buy and build trails to get viewers." And it's like, are you an idiot?
Yes. Yes is the answer. And also, I mean, you know, there's something to be said for most of the time you can have 10 really great comments, you know,
Yeah.
and then one really bad comment.
Yeah.
And that bad one's the one that sticks out to you. And
Yeah.
it's the one you really think about. And for whatever reason, I mean, that's the way it is. So not paying attention to that is a good thing. But anytime you're going to like really put yourself out there on the internet, you have to be prepared that a lot of people are going to say negative shit, negative stuff. And a lot of times they're wrong and they just want to make you feel bad because they're miserable. Yeah, it's just classic projection.
It's 100% true. Like, think about like that one video I did that went crazy, the viral video I did on Instagram. Like, I had one guy like say how stupid it was, or like I shouldn't do it. And I was like, well, I went to his page, and I went to his page, and I looked.
This is negative.
Yeah, and it was great because I love to like really deep dive sometimes. This is probably not what I should have done, but I went to his page and he had like 300 followers. I was like, and so
I'll show you.
what I wrote on the comment was brilliant. Like, to me, I thought it was funny, and it was like, okay, so I wrote this really big paragraph. I don't remember what it was, but the summation was like, okay, so I was like, I'll have my marketing team essentially told me I should make this video. What I should have done is reached out to your marketing team, who is now providing successful advice on Instagram, you know, or whatever. Like, it was something like where it was like, it was very tongue in cheek. It was very like whatever. And he came back, he's like, so stupid, you know, like this, like.
Yeah, you think you're so funny.
Yeah. Meanwhile, 4 million views later, in an international, in a global trend later, it's like maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you just gotta ignore those.
I will say, and I've talked about this, and again, I do like to talk about myself quite a bit. So why else would I set up all this camera gear other than to talk about myself? But the Instagram stuff's been going really well lately. Again, doing these reels and all that stuff. It's been fun creating short form content. And I was trying to give people advice on like what to do, because like, okay, say for example, dangerous. I know, but this is actually a subject that I know what I'm talking about, because it's provable that I've got a lot of views on Instagram, a lot. Like you saw, my 90-day summary was 4.4 million impressions or whatever. Like, it's a lot. So like, I was telling people, like, if you want to grow on Instagram, posting pictures is pointless. Instagram doesn't care. Your followers will see those pictures, but it's not going to promote you to a bigger audience.
Right.
Reels is going to do it. You got to make reels. That's what they care about.
It used to be hashtags for how you promote your picture stuff, and people.
Yeah, and they've abandoned that. God, I did a bad one.
It doesn't seem like that does much. Yeah, nowadays. What's so saturated? All those hashtags are so. You click on any one of them, and it's just you just get lost in the. You immediately get lost in the shuffle. So.
Yeah. So hashtags don't matter, pictures don't matter, IGTV stuff doesn't even exist anymore. You got to produce reels. And here's what I say. Like, one, if you want to create a good reel, you got to make it as tight as possible. And you can make stuff that's really simple, like informational stuff with, like, say, for example, like, Brian did one like, hey, how I swap my pedals out, or something like that, where it's short, it's fast, and if people can consume it and share it. If it's shareable, as with anything, even on YouTube, which is Bobo's proof to this, if it's shareable, it's just gonna go crazy. So it's like, if you can produce something shareable, like what I did where it's like how I wash my bike versus my truck, people are like, oh, right? Like, and normal mountain bikers are a great example of this too. It's like that thing where it's like, that's so true, or it's funny because it's true, right? But I was like, if you can't think of something like that, think of something that's like a basic tip on like how to mount, like what would you do? Like, hey, how to set up your brake lever, or like the top 5 accessories if you're gonna ride, boom, boom, boom. And it's like, those could be shareable and that's informational. It's like, man, those little things can help you grow.
Yeah, and while you're right, I can't help but always be resentful toward the fact that we've somehow gotten into this immediate gratification thing with social media, where TikTok and everything.
Yep.
Everyone wants like this consolidated content. And I hate it. It's like Reels, same thing. I tried for so long not to even look at them, because what you do is you watch one, you watch the next one. Next thing you know, it's been an hour and you've just done nothing with your life. Yeah. Except mind-numbing. It's so much worse than, TV used to be. Back in my day, TV will melt your brain. Now it's like people are staring at their phones, just scrolling through, and I think it's unhealthy. And
I think we've lost our ability to consume longer form content.
That's the thing. I love the longer form content personally.
Well, so do I, and there's still a place for it, but it's like got to be done well. Like, it kind of reminds me of, if you watch Rick and Morty has intergalactic cable, and it's one of the greatest things you'll ever see, because the whole premise is like they're just scrolling through intergalactic channels, like channels all across the galaxy, and it's just the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, like, hey, I've got a bee shirt. Look at my bee shirt. And like, it's like, oh, and then it's like, go to the next channel. It's like these funny little jokes, and it's like all this little stuff. It's like short form. It's funny, but it's like, yeah,
we're hitting like a critical mass though in terms of that short form content, where it's like, what's it gonna, it's like, we need to like inject amusement into ourselves instantaneously and move on to the next. You know? It's a real problem.
Crashing Mom is brilliant tonight. She's coming in with all the hits. She says, anyone ever watch The Box? You know, that video I saw about 1,000 times on The Box? Last Resort by Papa Roach. Yes, international superstar and probably my highest rated video. I'm calling it my video now because like the fact that I'm in the Papa Roach video with the old BKC was a well-kept secret for a lot of years, but we broke it loose when Brian came here, and that was the topic. I had a lot of people, I told everybody in the live stream, this is what's fun about doing what we do here, because now you can have, again, real-time interactions with people. And so I said, hey, if you find it, send me a message on Instagram. I never shared that, but I had a lot of people like, is this you? Is this you? Like, that was funny as hell. And then I could start talking to them like, you got it. Like, it was like this great interaction with like people. And like this whole thing as a social experiment and doing the YouTube, doing the Instagram, is the funnest part about it has been talking with people and meeting people from across the globe and doing all that. And like, that was fun. Like, that's kind of what I tried to do with the Halloween concerts, which was ridiculous, of having like, you know, imitate the Colorado Kid and like win a prize. And it's like, I thought it was a fun element. Like, I need to rethink that, but I still like the idea. The idea is like making people like go out of their comfort zone to do this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, the prize is good, but the entertainment value from people like doing their impersonations of like somebody ridiculous is even funner to me.
I really like that, and I think you should do it again. I think, how long was it between announcing that and doing the...
I think I gave about 2 weeks. So
See,
it's
that's
just
not very long. I think you got to push it out at least a month, because like I was like dead set on doing that, but you know, one thing leads to another. 2 weeks blows by like lickety split.
I am a firm believer that if you put an opportunity in someone's hands, they either execute or they don't. You could do it the next day if you wanted to.
One person.
That's what I'm saying. But look, it's obviously not a good idea. I
think it is a good idea.
Going in it wasn't a good idea. If you guys aren't familiar with this contest that I did, the idea was that like for Halloween, you do your best Colorado Kid impression, and then you would send it to me with a video, picture, it doesn't matter, whatever it was. It would just be this like ludicrous thing. But I like the idea of it being like, hey, how you can dig on me, like it could be a joke, it could be really just like hitting hard at my stupidity. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I think it would be funny. And so it'd be good to see people like making fun of me and also trying to be silly. But it's like, then I thought the live stream is the funniest part about it when you go back and watch everybody's takes on it and they just like react real time. It's like this fun like community event, and like the idea is cool, but obviously nobody really cared, or nobody is willing to go through a lot of effort to do a thing. And like the more like okay, and this is kind of relates to this. Like somebody like Brian, who's a very big YouTuber, and there's a lot of big YouTubers that are out there, like Paul, who's now looking to hire a cameraman.
Yeah.
How does he not have people knocking down his door to come and either do that for free or produce like how are there people out there that are like, hey, I'm an aspiring filmmaker, like why wouldn't you be like, I like this guy's work, I would do anything to work with this guy. Not only would you get the experience, you get the exposure, it would be like all beneficial.
Yeah.
Like you would think like with Brian too, like people would be like knocking down his door to like help. Like, how can I help? Like I even told Brian, like, how can I help? Like, what can I do?
Yeah, I think part of that, I mean, so Paul's issue, which I'm sure he's aware of, is going to be where he's located. It's just an expensive place. What?
Also Paul.
Also Paul. That's true. But
I love Paul, by the way. I talk a lot about Paul. I love Paul.
Yeah, it's with love, mostly. But where he's located is pretty tough to live. I don't think there's a very vast population. Well, I can't even remember.
Yeah.
I keep
He's out near Squamish or something, I think, right?
Not Saskatchewan.
Canadian land?
Squamish. Yeah. I mean, there's not a dense population to pick through, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, that, and you know, for someone to relocate to there, that's quite the task, you know, because, you know, like Seth for Burn Peak, like he had a local high school kid, something like that is helping him out. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Someone local to you, that's ideal. But yeah, relocating
There's
for that.
nobody in Squamish that wants to work a camera. Like, I don't know. Like, I think if I was young, I'd be totally into that. Just like, let's do some fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, looking back, if I was like in the right position, I think that would be a great opportunity. If that's something I wanted to do, I definitely agree. It's a matter of if you can find someone. Also, you know, when you're like in your 30s, you're like asking high school kids, hey, you wanna edit some videos?
With this mustache, not gonna cut it.
Yeah, not gonna work.
I was thinking about like as a side topic, think about that movie 21 Jump Street where they go as undercover cops to high school. Like, I don't think I could fit in. All right, I don't think it would work.
Yeah, there are some logistical concerns.
Yeah. I'd show up, be like, hey, I'm a high schooler. They'd be like, get out of here, old man.
Yeah, get back. Yeah. You're like the janitor or something. The sanitary whatever.
Hey, you guys need me to clean your toilets? So basically what I've become is the guy from
Alright.
Billy Madison, the janitor from Billy Madison, where he's carting around the milk and he's like, how about you, Sideburns? You want some of this milk? And he's like, I'd rather have a beer. That's what I've become?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. You can always boost my confidence in such astounding ways. I like it.
That's what I'm here for.
I know, I count on you. I count on you, Kyle. Is it s'mores hour? Where's the s'mores? You got them?
They're over on the table.
All right, you're in charge of grabbing the s'mores.
Jeez Louise.
Come on, Kyle. You can refill your whiskey in the meantime.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous. Ah!
Oh my God,
Lights.
don't die on me, Kyle. Look, here it is. Yeah, War Within says, I don't think it's about wanting to do the work, it's about dealing with Paul himself.
See, yeah.
Kind of, yes. Yeah, Paul's a very particular person, but Paul cracks me up. I love hanging with Paul.
Yeah.
He's actually gonna be out in Sedona also, so we've
To
got...
speak to that, it's not that Paul's a bad guy by any means, but you just know he's gonna be a micromanager.
Yep.
And especially some kid, the last thing they want is micromanagement.
Kids these days don't want to be told anything, but they need to be told stuff because they don't know
I'm
what the
gonna
hell
be
they're
honest
doing.
here. Adults these days don't want to be told anything.
That's not true. I'm open to anything. Like, you guys can teach me anything you want, but it's like, I don't know. I've always felt like I've had a very good open mind about things.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
But I don't know,
Getting
like I've always taken the approach with anything. It's like, hey, if you got advice, I'm willing to listen. Like you got a way to improve, you tell me, I'm happy to help.
Let's oh, we got Reese's peanut butter cups up in here.
Oh, baby.
We are on to some business.
Wait, hold on. Let me just,
How do you want to? I don't know. what
I'm
you're
roasting Kyle.
doing. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Nice.
yeah.
All right. Go ahead and take.
Let me get two. I'm gonna
Go ahead
get,
and grab your.
I gotta go with
all
the
your-
Hershey's.
Yeah.
I'm just grabbing it all.
The Hershey's. I
Yep.
think you mean the Reese's.
The Reese's. The Reese's, yeah, we're
Ah.
dialing in. Yep.
All right. Oh, Billy. It's
Okay,
pretty
here we go.
warm over here. Pretty toasty. Go ahead and set that down. Put that over there.
Look, it
There
wouldn't
we
be
go.
a, it wouldn't be a fireside chat without a good old s'mores. I'm not gonna say s'mores hour because it's not really an hour. It's more like a s'mores 10 minutes.
You've had a lot of people talking about having this perfect brown marshmallow on here. And I seem to be the only one that is pro carcinogen and wants theirs just.
So you're going in for the
Burn.
full burn. You're going in for the full burn.
Yeah, I like a good crystallization of the sugars.
I like to get it toasty in the middle. I like it warm in the middle, and then I fry it. Like I don't mind the burn, but I also want the inside to be warm. You know?
Okay, you want the warm, mushy innards.
Yep. With the toasty
crusty
outside.
yeah.
Crusty outside. I don't want to like bite into a hard
yeah,
marshmallow.
yeah.
You know? What is marshmallow? Marshmallows are just sugar, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which, you know what burnt sugar is pretty much caramel.
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 Don't start with me on the
Yeah. Paul makes putts. Yeah.
Paul.
Paul
Putts.
does. Paul's we went to Topgolf when we were in the final days of, actually I was out in Phoenix for a work trip. Uh-oh, I'm getting loose already. Uh-oh, I gotta burn this thing fast. Oh no, we're gonna lose it.
I'm doing like a reverse sear, it's more like a technical sear actually. Burn the outside, and now I'm kind of working on heating the inside. This is like when you sear your steak on the stove top and then put it in the oven.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going for here.
I don't use ovens or propane or any
Real
of that
Roots
stuff, Kyle. I'll
Chris
use
stuff.
fire.
Supposedly, I was told very condescendingly recently
Yep.
that is how the fancy restaurants do it, is they sear it and then put it in the oven.
I do the opposite. I smoke it and then I sear it.
I'm not sure that smoking a marshmallow is a...
That's kind of what we're doing here.
Oh, Billy, we are.
Oh my God, we're diving right in.
This thing like expanded.
Did it?
I'm pretty
I don't know why I did two. I'm gonna eat this marshmallow while
Yeah,
this
I
one
don't know why
cools
you did
down
that.
so I don't burn my mouth out.
My left leg is pretty toasty. I will
This
say.
is the only point that I don't miss the beard, is
Yeah.
like with this part, because otherwise this always gets all in the beard.
Yeah. This is that part where if you have misophonia, you might want to dip out for a little bit.
What is that?
Misophonia is when you cannot stand hearing people eat.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait,
Misophonia.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like misophonia would be like you need the latest Android
I
or
feel
something.
like it's like, I am so fake.
Okay.
Misophony.
Oh yeah. God, okay, you just dived into this racist territory.
Got a little
I don't
bit.
really want to cover. Okay, Kyle.
Got a little bit off track.
Wait, did you go with the Hershey or did you go with peanut butter cup?
This is the peanut butter cup.
We had to go with peanut butter cup. There's
I
no
kind of want to
question.
give it a minute to like melt the peanut butter cup.
It's not
At
gonna
least
happen.
The chocolatey outers. Yeah, I mean those things You ever like, I mean, it takes a good amount of heat, honestly, to melt those peanut butter cups. Makes you wonder.
Look at that. Someone jumped in the chat, by the way. Someone
Oh,
is the greatest Destiny player in history. And you know that I've been diving back into video games lately, and that's part of the reason why my YouTube career has suffered, because I was just screwing around on Halo. But a new Destiny expansion's coming out. Now I want to play that too, and he's got to give me the ropes. Oh, it does melt it. You're right. I'm counting on him to give me the ropes to just. Oh, what are we? Kyle's diving in. Yep.
Oh. Dude, yeah.
War Within says dip the marshmallow in the whiskey.
You're on to something there, bud. I don't have quite enough whiskey to dip, but I can do a little.
Get it right here. There's more.
I can do a little drip, drop.
War Within, you've done this.
This is next level stuff right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I've ever had a s'more with a Reese's peanut butter cup and whiskey on it.
How is it? Dreamy?
Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Mm. Oh my God. Yep, we have done it.
Wow. That was really good.
Wow.
That whiskey actually really adds like a little bit of spice.
Mmm.
Wow. I can never have another s'more again without the whiskey dip. I'm going for it.
Are you going for round two, Kyle?
It's for the s'more.
You've got a great shot right now. Your camera's right there. Tell the fans what you got going on, Kyle.
I think that speaks for itself.
I think so too.
Bing, bang, boom, as it were. I think that's better placement. Kind of hides the laptop a little bit.
Okay, but let's put the logo this way so it looks official.
Oh, going that way? Okay.
That is really nice. That's classy.
Woo.
Okay, one of the things we talked about, by the way, when BKXC was on and when Biker was on, because I know he's not going to watch this because he has no patience whatsoever.
No.
And I asked him, I was like, hey, did you check out my latest Fireside chat? He's like, oh, I kind of browsed through it. He does a 2-hour podcast live stream every week, but he cannot be troubled to watch anyone else's. Like, he's like, nah, I can't watch anything for 2 hours. I'm like, you literally do that every week. So I wonder, like, how he feels about that. We didn't have time to discuss. We were too busy getting all kinds of other stuff. But, it's just comically good. But one of the things we talked about was the fact that I forgot what my original point was.
Which was what?
That's exactly my point.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Okay. All right.
Totally lost my train of thought.
I'm really loving this like sear and then cook kind of deal. I think this whole situation. I've somehow spontaneously manifested my perfect s'more. Yeah, that was a really complicated way to say that.
Okay. Now I have remembered what I was going to say. All right, so one of the things I talked about when Brian was on was the fact that I really do take a high level enjoyment in mildly annoying people.
Yeah.
And I have discovered this is true because, like, now that Robert has mentioned that he doesn't like having the laptop in the shot, now I want to leave it there forever. Even if I come up with a viable solution, like if I've got a camera and I've got the laptop over there and I've got TVs over here and this doesn't need to be here anymore, I'm still going to put a prop laptop here just to mildly annoy him. Every time I do a live stream here by the fire, and he's going to log in, which he won't do, but he's going to come check it out, and he's going to go, God, that stupid laptop's still there. And he won't know that I'm doing it on purpose, but I'm specifically doing it just to annoy him. What is your take on that, Kyle?
My take is that I've realized that if you use the Reese's to push the marshmallow.
Wait, look at this camera real quick so folks, oh, there it goes. You know what was happening? The whiskey bottle was taken over.
As it should.
Yeah.
And so I've realized if you use the Reese's peanut butter cup, which I've taken the last one. Sorry.
Okay. I won't hold it against you.
So like I put the marshmallow back on the fire for a second, use the Reese's peanut butter cup to push it onto the graham cracker to speed up the meltitude of the you know, you get it.
Yeah.
So now it just needs whiskey.
And you've got a new glass, don't you?
I do.
There you go.
But it's still, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar. I don't know if you ever like dip Oreos into milk, but you need a certain kind of glass.
Are you going to dip a s'more into whiskey?
Well, isn't that what the point was? I mean, that's the thing, is this is not conducive.
Look at what you've done here. Look at what you've done here. Holy crap.
Wasn't that what you said?
Yeah, no, it is. That's what War Within said. War Within, look at what you've done to this.
Oh, the logistics here.
We were completely professional until
very
this moment.
complicated. What if I just take a sip and then a bite?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, War Within says put a large laptop logo on it that says laptop, like a big sticker that says laptop for streaming. That would be perfect.
That was spicy.
How'd it go, Kyle? A little bit too much? You took it a little too far?
Well, you have to breathe. And
Yeah.
then-
Get the smoke in, bring it all together. Look, this is a prime opportunity as we kind of we're not wrapping up yet, but this is an opportunity for everybody in chat. If you guys have questions for us, if you have something you want us to talk about, this is your opportunity. Yeah. We'll bring it in, we'll wrap it all up and together into one final fantastic fireside chat.
Yeah, haven't heard a whole lot of engagement from, here we go. So, okay.
Yeah.
If I had thought about it ahead of time,
yeah.
maybe split the s'more in half, now it is the perfect dunking size.
Oh my God. Look at what you've done, War Within. This is your fault. He's dunking s'mores in whiskey. This is not a cheap whiskey, by the way. This whiskey is a barrel pick that probably cost me $100-something at least. Like, it's just whatever.
That is all the more better. I'm adding to the value right now. Here we are.
Someone, I'm not going to play World of Warships, all right? It's too slow. I want to shoot things.
Cool.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Oh, man. This is fantastic. I am on cloud nine.
Kyle, favorite breakfast cereal? Go.
I don't really eat breakfast cereal.
Jesus, Kyle, just pick a cereal.
Oh, man, I can't even think of any. Like, Cinnamon Toast Crunch comes to mind, but that's really not that good.
That's the correct answer, okay? Cinnamon Toast Crunch is probably one of the greatest cereals of all time, but also, like, to the point where they will put it on sale at Costco, and they'll be like, it'll be $4.50 for a giant box of 2 packs of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And I will walk by the aisle, and I will force myself to keep walking because I know that I will want to eat it. But I don't buy it because I know what's going to happen. And what happened the other day is my wife said, hey, I bought you the cereal because I know you like it. So now we have a giant box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's just leading me down a dirty rabbit hole.
There was, I can't remember the name of it. It was like honey almond kind of.
How have we lost focus? Is it because you put on glasses?
Maybe it's the hat.
What happened here? It's focusing on everything wrong.
The tree.
There it goes. Now I got you.
There was like a, it's kind of like something like a walnut, and it's not. It's almost kind of like Raisin Bran, but not like a walnut, something or other. Anyway, it's super good. I can't think of what it was called, but I haven't eaten cereal in ages. I try not to eat breakfast most time, or if I do, it's it's like a banana.
Okay, another question. Yeah, that's a terrible answer, by the way. Thanks for that.
Well,
another question we have here. Lucky Trail Monster says Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms is good, but I think they're a little shiesty with the marshmallows. I think the whole
sugary.
The whole point of that cereal is the marshmallows. Why not just make a marshmallow cereal at that point? Like nobody wants the other part. They just want the marshmallows.
You're enduring the little other bits. I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, and who cares? All you're there for is the marshmallows. That's why it's an imbalanced cereal. Okay, it's imbalanced.
Yeah, it's like, why do they even put the noodles in spaghetti and meatballs? I'm there for meatballs.
You're there for the meatballs.
Yeah. Actually, that's not really true. I actually love spaghetti noodles.
How dare you
I don't
spout
I'm not
false
that crazy about
truths
meatballs.
on a fireside chat,
Yeah.
okay? War Within says he only has Doritos and beer. That's decent. Well, we've got s'mores, we got whiskey, we had fire cooked steaks, we got all kinds of stuff.
The only problem with Doritos is the fact that they discontinued the smoke and cheddar barbecue way back like 10 years ago or more.
Cheerios with sugar and bananas? No, that's stupid, War Within. You're an idiot.
I could get behind that.
Idiot. It's fine,
you know what I used to do?
but it's not the best.
You know what I used to do when I was younger?
Yeah.
Get a bowl of milk and crush up a bunch of Oreos in it. Or not crush them up, just put them straight in there because it's chaos.
That would work.
That's good.
Roller says honey bunches of oats. And the truth is, per capita, in this household, we've eaten more honey bunches of oats than any other cereal.
Yeah.
So that's not wrong.
Yeah. I think it was like a walnut oat crunch. Damn, I don't know.
I know. War Within brings up a great point too, by the way. Like when I talk about the idea of mildly annoying Robert, For a moment there, your camera was focusing on the laptop, and it was perfectly. It worked perfectly with the
That's
joke
great.
that like I'm here to annoy Robert now.
The
So
camera's like, I got this.
everyone should know going forward that this laptop will stay here forever just to piss him off.
Just to mildly annoy him,
Yeah.
not to piss him off.
Okay, other answers we've got. Honey Bunches of Oats is a good consensus.
What about a classic? What do you call it? Oh man, what? It's like wheat something or other.
With the
Cream
sugar
of
on
wheat.
top.
Cream of wheat.
Cream of
We
wheat.
used to have. Yeah.
I thought I was the old one here.
Damn. So man, I used to do cream of wheat, and you put a bunch of chocolate syrup in there and mix it all up.
I think I did brown sugar and butter.
Oh, that sounds good too.
But you know what they do in the South, which I didn't discover until my dad married someone from the South, is they have cheesy grits. And like for us,
Yeah.
like cream of wheat was essentially like a finer grain grit. And so like we would eat it with just lots of sugar like we did oatmeal. But when in the South, they eat like cheesy grits. So they take these big, and like I had it, and it was amazing. That's often what they do is shrimp and grits, is they'll do shrimp, bacon, all this other stuff, and just a big hearty meal. Whereas like when
Yeah.
I was doing it, I was just like eating it like oatmeal with sweets.
Yeah. You know the thing. Speaking of like the Oreos and milk, there's like praline cookies.
Oh yeah,
Praline?
okay,
I think is what they were.
yeah.
Top tier. That with milk.
Yep.
Milk and milk. I'm telling you, dude, addicting.
Okay,
Say
I'm gonna
goodbye
go
to
out
the
on a
whole
limb
box.
right now and say that mediocre mountain biker is completely wrong. He says Raisin Bran. No, get the Raisin Bran out of here.
I can get behind some Raisin Bran.
No, nobody's gonna rank that in their top 20.
Raisin Bran is the healthy Lucky Charms.
It's not healthy.
yeah.
It's raisins covered in
Okay.
sugar.
Okay, it's the placebo healthy. Okay,
Yeah.
it's like Gatorade. Like there's so much sugar in Gatorade, it almost defeats the purpose. You know, with all the electrolytes. But you know, watered down Gatorade is actually that's what I like to do. Drink half a Gatorade, add water.
Watered down Gatorade?
Well, because it dilutes the sugar.
Or you could drink vitamin water, which is in no way bad for you.
Yeah, clearly.
No way was that
Or,
marketed
remember,
towards
like,
people.
Is Sobe still around?
Sobe. My dad was so into Sobe for the longest time. He had a giant shelf full of Sobe or whatever, and like I would say Sobe just to make him
Sobe.
mildly annoy him also. But like he would have all the flavors. He was like, "Hey, we got Sobe. Hey, we got a Sobe." It was like the thing
Dude,
that he had going on for the longest time.
There's like a strawberry banana one, and then there was like a cranberry something or other. Top tier stuff.
No, it wasn't top tier. It was
Top
also
tier.
just sugary, like
No, yeah.
whatever. But they convinced
Surely.
us it was good for you.
Oh, dude, and it was good for young me that can handle all kinds of sugar and everything. You know, nowadays I have to think about that stuff.
Oh my God, Raisin Bran. Malto Meal was also a top favorite from the Crashing Mom. By the way,
Malto?
this turns
What?
out to be the greatest question of the night. Thank you for suggesting that. What other questions do you guys have? Because we could go all night about cereals and breakfasts, whatever. What I've recently discovered, even though, despite my not having watched Seth's video on how to make avocado toast,
yeah.
I figured it out. You know what
Wow.
you do? You make toast,
Wow.
and
what?
then you put avocado on it.
You know, there's one reason why I watched that entire video. Is I was like, how is he making a full video on something that takes like 30 seconds?
That's what it's
That
like.
was the amusing thing for
That's
me.
the that's the thing about Seth. It's like, hey, you know what you're getting into when you come into it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a
I
high
was like,
quality production
there's no
video
way he's
on
stretching
something.
this out that long. Like, how do you even? And somehow I watched the entire video.
You're going to get a high quality
even like
production video
avocado.
on something. Yes.
That's the thing. I was like, I hate avocado, and I'm purely curious how he made that into a whole thing.
Maybe I should start making avocado toast videos.
No.
It would get more views.
No. I will say I did go down that the RC car rabbit hole for Seth's channel and every other channel on YouTube. By the way, kind of a young market.
Yep.
The micro RC cars and whatnot for YouTube channel ideas. There's not that many out there. I've pretty much watched them all in like a day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's really. I was like, man, I should start doing this. I don't care that much about it, but I was like, I mean, hell, it's like a blossoming, and they're only gonna get crazier over the years.
Yeah.
You know? That's a blooming thing. Top tip right there.
Top tip. Crashing Mom says, the last time you drank a Sobe was watching a Papa Roach video. That's not true. The last time I drank a Sobe was when I was in a Papa Roach video.
Oh.
So watch your goddamn mouth, all right?
Dang.
Yeah, exactly. Favorite beer is a question. I am not an expert in this topic anymore, but I have discovered one that I like recently. But Kyle, you probably are much more eccentric in beer preference.
Eccentric is a word for it.
Yes.
Or you want mine? So here's the thing. Every time you ask me,
This is going to take a while, ladies and gentlemen, so I might go
every time
just...
people ask
yeah.
me, hey, what's your favorite beer? And I'm like, that is such a loaded question. I actually resent the idea of having like a favorite beer. Because I'm like, there is having a favorite day, you know, regular, like have a couple beers after work. That's one kind of beer. Going out and drinking, that's a different kind of beer. You know, going camping, that's a different kind of beer. Going fishing, I guess camping and fishing are pretty interchangeable, but there's just, it's so circumstantial, you know? I can't just pick one. I don't even know if I have a favorite beer style. That's not true. ESB. If I had to pick one favorite style, ESB. I don't know why. They're just like simple, but packed with character. There you have it. Extra special
How much
bitter.
time has passed? Did we just talk about... Jesus, don't ask that question again, please. God. There's a beer... I like hazy
speaking of beer.
IPAs now. Like, that's what I like.
That is because, you know, hazy IPAs are like the seltzer market, okay?
Ah.
They're like what kettle sours are, you know? They're not real beer. They're like get you into beer.
You want to see how much beer I have in
like
my fridge?
Shock Top.
0. I have a giant selection of whiskey. I have 0 beer because
That's not true.
I just don't care about beer
You literally
anymore.
just bought a 24-pack.
I bought a 24-pack for you, Kyle.
Well, I'm not gonna drink a 24-pack.
I made you steaks and I got you beer.
I'm looking for that pipeline
I
porter.
care
right
about
now.
you, Kyle. That's what I care about.
Top tip. It's been a long time since I've had this, but pipeline porter from Kona was one of my favorite porters back in the day, and it's pretty cheap compared to. I shouldn't say cheap. It's not a good industry term.
Yeah.
But let me see if it holds up.
Get ready for the critique. Here we go.
Not as good as I recall, but I've also like kind of contorted my palate with the assortment of s'mores and bourbon and other beer
Yeah.
and cigar. But we'll see.
Yep. Roller says his favorite beer is the beer he has in his hands.
That is actually the good answer. Is a cold and open one. Cold, open, and free. That's the trio. That's the hat trick.
Cold, open, and free? What do you mean by free?
Yeah, like if I didn't pay for it, it's cold and I'm drinking it. That's my favorite.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like if you set it free, it will come.
No. Not like spiritually free.
Yeah.
You know.
You never know when you start talking about beer, Kyle. You get a little intense.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I just
Kyle
black
once
out.
told me that it was bad to serve beer cold because it loses flavor.
That's not exactly true. But
I'm summarizing it,
there's like a temperature range where depending on the type of beer. So here's the thing. Cold mutes flavors.
Okay. Yep.
That is a thing.
Yep.
So that's why.
So are you saying people in Minnesota are less interesting?
I don't know about whether they're interesting or not, but their beer has less flavor. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That's why people love like, oh, I love having like a super cold beer. Like, yeah, because it's basically water at that point.
Yep.
Like, it just doesn't have the, you know, like if you buy an expensive beer,
Yeah.
you know, like a nice bomb or something, you shouldn't pull it out of the fridge and have it immediately because you're not going to experience the full spectrum of flavor. Have it like 55 degrees, somewhere in that range, 55, 60, somewhere in there. You know.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's subjective.
War Within makes a great point that we do have the Russian River Brewery next, not too far from us, which makes Pliny the Elder. And my preference is the pig.
Blind Pig.
Yeah, Blind Pig. I think Blind Pig is superior. But at the bottom line is those are both really great world-renowned beers. Not that far. They don't distribute that much, but you can get it if you go there and things like that. Do they really?
You can find Pliny and Blind Pig like almost as easy as Coors Light at this point.
The downside for them is like the mystique was that you couldn't find it, but also I'm sure they're making a lot more money now.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
I think that really was what kept Pliny so important, was that it was hard to get.
Yeah.
It's Blanton's for beer.
Yeah, exactly. You can have people lining up when they release this beer. It's like,
crazy.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
All right, fair enough. Look, I know, yeah, Bike Sum doesn't need beer. He's got Stoke, and that's all he needs. Plenty is overrated. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Kyle should start a channel called Connoisseur Kyle.
I'm not into it.
Yep.
I'm kind of transitioning out of that.
Oh my God.
Out of that industry.
Yeah, I know. Fair enough. All right, final moments. We've been at it for about 2 hours now, which 2 hours always goes by fast when we sit here talking, hanging out, drinking beer, eating
whiskey s'mores,
drinking beer, drinking whiskey. It's just, you know, it goes by fast. Like, it's been another great fireside chat. If you guys in chat have anything else you want to talk about, any events coming up that you guys are concerned about, want to discuss, I know a couple things that are going on, and we can talk about them right now. One, there's an event being put on by Epic Rides out in Prescott that I may be a part of. Two, we need...
Whoa.
Yeah.
You mean Prescott.
Do people say Prescott?
It's Prescott.
No, it's Prescott.
It's Prescott.
Look at the spelling. Prescott,
Go to
right?
Arizona and say Prescott. I dare you. Like, just go down there and say Prescott. See how long it takes for someone to yell at you and get in your face.
I think you've learned nothing tonight, Kyle.
Prescott.
I think you've learned nothing tonight.
That's
Now that you've told me that, I am absolutely going to play
Prescott.
Prescott. Hey, I really enjoy my time in Prescott. You know, and like again, the mild annoyance of people like having to correct me without them knowing that I know that they need to correct me to annoy them is all on the table. In addition to that, they have announced the dates for our
Dirt Days.
No.
Oh.
We all know about dirt. Well, let's talk about Dirt Days, and then we're going to talk about the most important event of the year.
May 7th.
May 7th. Dirt Days is going to be incredible.
Do we know where? Do they know where?
Same place.
So, okay.
Yep.
Is it because they closed down the Wheelhouse?
Yeah, but the Wheelhouse is the people that own it still own it, so they're going to allow food trucks. They're going to open for the day. They got it all taken care of. So
cool.
MTV NorCal's got it dialed in. Dirt Days in Nevada City is going to be incredible. If you guys are in the area, come up, check it out. But more important than that, we have a rematch that we need to take care of. And we need to take first this year, don't we? What am I talking about, Kyle?
Mare Island Pedal Festival.
Mare Island
Extraordinaire
Pedal
California 2022.
I'm here to tell you right now, if you guys are in the area, you need to get a team together, you need to come to this event and have a blast with us. It was the funnest thing. I think they announced it. They did announce the date. I don't remember specifically. It's a little bit later in the year, but boy, oh boy, was that a fun time. And this time, maybe we'd schedule some time to hang out afterwards and drink some beers and stuff too.
And furthermore, we need to condition and
Yep.
I would say we need to work out a more compatible bike situation. First of all,
here's the bad side.
an enduro
Brian's bike is now a medium as opposed to a large.
Jeepers creepers. So here's the thing. The other thing was that was not the greatest bike for that thing.
No,
you know,
not at all.
I'm
trying to tell him to reach out to Ibis and get one of those XCs, and maybe we can get a large XC that we could all kind of share, and that's more cross-country style that we could really put some times up. I want to win.
Again, I mean, it's pretty exclusive to me, but like, I really feel like maybe having like the seat up a little higher. And
Kyle, who's going to be faster, Brian, me,
that's
or
true.
you?
But the thing is, you can set a dropper to whatever you need it to be if you can just kind of finesse it, you know?
Let's be honest, Brian won that race for us.
Yeah, I know, it's just, man, I can't tell you how hindered I was by the fact that the seat was like 4 or 5 inches lower than what I needed to be. It's so hard to sit and pedal. I was like standing and pedaling the whole time. Maybe you need to just recruit a shorter guy.
Or just do some squats ahead of time and really get that leg conditioning up.
Oh man, but man, it's like 12 minutes of standing and pedaling at harder. That's challenging. That's a lot.
Oh, that event was so cool.
A lot at max heart rate.
Jay, you better get a team together, damn it. And I want to see you and like Justin Nemi. Let's get a crew together. Let's get some crazy teams out there.
If you want to win, you should probably put Jay in for me. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's not the point, Kyle. We have our hijinks. That's what we have.
I
did invite Jay, and he said no because he was doing something else.
Our #1 goal is to beat Team Old and Slow.
Yeah, but they come in wearing spandex and all this other stuff. It's very complicated.
They were what you call sandbagging.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Because you could see their balls in their suits.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why.
It was revealing.
Yeah.
Never in my life have I needed to wear spandex. Not once.
Yeah, no. I may or may not have, but that's a different topic entirely.
Meanwhile, the crashing mom has to deal with it on a regular basis because Shane loves his spandex.
Yeah, his ninja suit.
It's not a ninja suit. It's a spandex dork suit.
Yeah, well, it's also what he uses for his vigilantism.
He doesn't fight any crime, although with calves like that, it's entirely possible he does, actually. Now that I think about it, it's entirely possible.
Yeah, you haven't even seen him with the cape.
Does he have a cape?
No, for the record.
Is it a green screen cape? Oh, Shane, I miss Shane. All right, we're going to hang out soon.
No,
all right, we're going to catch up and then we're going to call it a night. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it's been amazing. It's pronounced Prescott, not Prescott. Yeah, see, Vince got it right. Totally got it right.
That's good stuff.
Vince is amazing. Good riding with you today, Vince. I miss you, buddy. I'm going to get down there more often, I think. We got really lucky with the traffic going down to Rockville and Skyline recently. So if we can do early morning getting outs, like, I love that because those are amazing trails that realistically are about the same distance as our normal trails. And it's in our mind that they're longer. So it's not that bad. Yep, small size bike. I think you should make it interesting and ride a small size bike. No, dear God, no. It's
hang on.
Yeah.
So you don't like it when it impacts you.
Honestly, I don't know if I could tell the difference between small and medium.
But I mean, like, but your seat height's gonna be fine. But if it's a small, we might all be challenged. I don't know if you can get I mean, you might be able to get the seat high enough.
Yeah, but you're more challenged. That's what I'm concerned about.
The size of the bike isn't the concern. Well, okay, on a small, I'm banging my knees into the bars, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I know. We're gonna figure this out.
That being said, I'll be standing the whole time, so I probably
won't.
Look,
I'm not settling for second place this year. We're gonna take first place. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna call Brian. I'm gonna say, Brian, you get a hold of Ibis and you get that large XE because I want Kyle to be happy. Otherwise, he's gonna bitch about this. And I want to take first. I'm gonna get spandex suits for all of us.
Maybe. So if I'm anchor again, and we got a quick release on that seat, maybe while I initially start, I can just boop boop. You know, just boop boop. I'll practice in the parking lot doing like, you know, like how you have like those dudes on YouTube like practice those quick magazine changes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that with the quick release seat. I'll have like a pre-mark on the dropper. I'll just go, and then I'll be good.
None of this is gonna happen. Brian has no patience for us whatsoever.
I know. I'll just sit there and suffer the whole time.
Brian's an international superstar. He has no need for us.
That's depressing. That was anyway, but that was a really good time.
Yeah, it was amazing.
The other thing too is, as much as we want to get competitive on it, like it's just a fun event to be at.
That's what I like about it. I like the idea that it's irreverent. Like
and again, we talked about this, but I really think they should put more focus on things like the Lonesome Louie, like maybe do some sort of brackets.
Yep.
But because they, you know, most of the day is actual racing, you know, with the high schools and whatever, different classes and all that, and at the end, I think it was the end, was the Lonesome Louie. And I'm like, this is the bit. Like, I think the Lonesome Louie is the reason to be there.
Yep.
But there weren't that many. There were like 5 or 6 teams.
We had a few teams, but again, like, if I was to ever organize an event, it would be something like that, where it's irreverent, fun on a bike. And like, cyclocross as a whole is a genre, but like, again, the Lonesome Louie is unique in the sense that you're all sharing one bike, you get a 4-man squad. It's just this pure irreverence.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen this video, go watch all our videos on this. It was just pure fun, and it was like, that's what I like. And Jay's really good about enduro races and stuff, but I like the idea of these irreverent style races that is fun and ridiculous, and it's like that's great.
It's so ridiculous you can't take it seriously, and that's what makes it great.
I know.
You can't, I mean, maybe, you know, if it really blew up, you're always going to have those tryhards that come out, just, you know, dick swinging everywhere, I'm going to win it, you know, and those guys can go fly a kite. But showing up, you know, just having a good time, jumping into the water hazard, whatever, and climbing over the chains. Anyway,
I would like to see more hazards.
More hazards. That's the other thing. The whole juicy bit is that last chunk at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest is just kind of suffering.
I did like going down and up the stairs and all that stuff, like all those crisscrosses and all that stuff. I know we're diving down a rabbit hole. I assume everybody in this chat has at this point seen, if they've stuck around long enough long, they've seen this video. But like, yeah, the race, the Mare Island Pedal Fest was just absolute bonkers fun, and I can't wait to do it again this year.
At a brewery, so if you're into that, if you partake in beer.
And it just so happens they have a distillery right there that we passed by, and I confirm that because I've had their whiskey, Savage and Cook.
Okay.
That old historic, like that granite building, I was like, that looks like something. It's actually a distillery. So they have a Savage and Cook distillery on the property. So we could do the ride, hit the distillery. Like, it could be an irreverent, like, just a full weekend.
Yeah, you know what they should do? Well, like, that's kind of a little too esoteric, if you will. Never mind. Disregard. Yeah. I had an idea, and I realized it. So, like, a lot of like goofball races, sometimes they'll like hand you beers kind of deal, but then you're kind of excluding certain people. So
yeah, we don't have to do that, but we'll post-ride beers are a good call.
Yeah.
Look, with that, we're going to call it a night. It's been 2 hours. That's more than enough. Robert has officially set the record for the longest Fireside chat. 3 hours is way more than enough, but you never know what's going to happen. We're at the 2 hour mark. I appreciate everybody tuning in this Saturday night. Hopefully you got a Super Bowl planned or something tomorrow. I'm probably just going to end up going and riding, but who the hell knows? At this point, we're going to call it a night. Kyle, any final words before we call it?
No.
As always, Kyle delivers the goods. Look, thanks everybody for jumping in. And I think the Hyman Breaker says boring. Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what we do here. Anyways, we'll see you guys on the next one. And yeah, plan for it. We'll see you. All right, goodbye. All right.